possible the Steelers could sneak up on them.
And through the mist, you can see Matt Barr ready to kick off. The Steelers will receive to begin this game Lupe Sanchez, 28. Dwight Stone, 20 of the deep receiving spots. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. We're underway from Cleveland. Stone at the 5. Almost got away. Fumbled the football on the far side, and I believe the Browns have it. Nope, they say that the Pittsburgh Steelers maintain possession at the 28. Anthony Hinton may have saved the day after a return of 23 yards, and immediately some pushing and shoving between Fontenot and Hinton.
What a break for the Steelers, though. The last thing they need right now is a fumble to start the game, especially when you're on the road. He was down, though. Good call.
Stephen Braggs is a man who forced the fumble, so the Steelers will begin at the 29-yard line, avoiding disaster, and Merrill Hodge straight ahead for 5 yards. Hodge coming off his best performance as a Pittsburgh Steeler last week, 102 yards on the ground. In the loss to the Eagles, Eddie Johnson, number 51, the linebacker, is a man who made the stop. It'll be a gain of 5, second down and 5. It has rained all day here in Cleveland, and the swirling winds playing havoc with the moisture. It is going to be a typical day by the lake in Cleveland. Second and 5. Play action for Bubby Brister, who starts at quarterback. Throws it to Hodge, and it's intercepted. Eddie Johnson off the hands of Hodge.
When you're 2-9, things like this seem to happen to you. Early in the game, a big break for Cleveland. Just lack of concentration. Merrill Hodge, number 33, an easy catch. He looks upfield too soon. Johnson's right there. What a break for Cleveland.
And a remarkable amount of reaction by Eddie Johnson. So the Browns get the first break of the game. They have been giving up the turnovers as of late. Tim Manoa fumbling on the first play from scrimmage in Denver last Sunday set them on their way to 4 turnovers in 6 possessions. Double tight end. Play action for Kosar on first down. Throws, and it's caught. Derek Tennell down around the 20-yard line. Cornell Gowdy and Brian Hinkle combined to make the stop after a gain of 17 yards and a Cleveland first down.
Right after the turnover, Kosar goes for all of it. Kind of surprised everybody. Play action. He's going to try and get 6 points on this. Tennell running towards the sideline. Perfect pass by Kosar. And the Browns want to do this early with Pittsburgh on the road, feeling kind of sorry for themselves in this weather. If Cleveland can jump out front early, it'll be a big help.
Manoa 42, Biner 44, the setbacks. Movement in the line.
Did it look like Kosar might have moved a little early there?
Might have pulled out without the football. Aaron Jones jumped.
That's not unusual.
It sure isn't.
Ball start on the offense. 5 yards. First down.
But this time it was justified.
Pittsburgh sure didn't need another mistake at this point.
So the Browns begin their first offensive series with double tight ends, although you look at double receivers there in Langhorne and Weathers. They have Tennell in with Newsom. And the 2 setbacks. Now they've got Brian Brennan in with Weathers on 1st and 15 to give to Biner for about 3. And he stopped at about the 23-yard line. David Little, number 50, is the man who made the stop, along with Gerald Williams, a nose tackle, 98. Steeler defensive unit lines up this way. Jones, Williams, and Johnson up front. Jones, the number 1 draft choice. Steelers have gotten great play out of Hardy Nickerson and David Little on the inside. Greg Lloyd, after missing part of the season. Rod Woodson is starting at the cornerback after a shoulder strain. Cornell Gowdy, Thomas Everett, the free safety. Langhorne and Weathers, the receivers. It is second down and 13 for the Browns following the interception. Kosar all day fires a ball. It's caught at the 15-yard line. Greg Carr makes the stop immediately on Ozzie Newsome, who now extends his streak to 139 consecutive games of catching at least 1 pass.
Well, Ozzie gets this one out of the way early in this game, so he won't have to worry about that for a while. But more importantly for Ozzie Newsome and the Browns, it's a big play. Kosar's throwing the ball early despite the weather. And his arm looks okay to me there, too. Nice pass. Had to keep it away from the defender. Great Carr, and threw it right in there to Ozzie Newsome.
So it leaves the Browns with 3rd down and 5. 4 wide receivers now with McNeil, Weathers, Brennan, and Langhorne. Almost the entire receiving core of the Browns. Of course, they don't have Webster Slaughter. May not have them the rest of the year. 3rd and 5. Kosar throws. It's incomplete. Pass was intended, I believe, for Reggie Langhorne, who was knocked down, looking for an interference call. None is forthcoming. And so Matt Barr, who's having a career season, 19 out of 22 in the field goal department, will attempt out of a Max Runniger hold to give the Browns the early lead.
Looking at it from the end zone, let's see if that was interference or not. Hardy Nickerson and Reggie Langhorne. Langhorne, number 88, will come across the middle here. Number 54 will come into the picture right there. Nope, no interference whatsoever. Had the position. Good defense.
32-yard field goal attempt by Matt Barr. The placement, the kick is up, and it is perfect. So Matt Barr now 20 out of 23 this season, and following the interception by Eddie Johnson, the Cleveland Browns have leaped out in front of the Steelers. 3-0. We'll return to rainy Cleveland in just a moment. And so the Steelers have to be somewhat satisfied with the fact that they held the Browns to just a field goal after the interception by Eddie Johnson. This is a team that has given up more points than anybody else, and the Pittsburgh Steelers obviously looking to stay in this game early, John.
Well, good job by Pittsburgh, but on the other hand, Cleveland really needed a touchdown after a turnover like that, especially with the criticism of this offense.
The kick by Barr coming down to Lupe Sanchez, 2 yards deep in the end zone, and the Steelers will take the touchback and begin at their own 20-yard line. While Woodson is playing the corner today, he will not return punts and kickoffs, which has also been his responsibility. So Bubby Brister brings the Steeler offense back on the field. And I think you made a good point right at the outset in pointing out the fact that Merrill Hodge lost some concentration and allowing that ball to bounce off his hands and be intercepted by Eddie Johnson. That has been a problem for the Steelers. Remaining focused. John Ringstra gets the start. Brian Blankenship moving over to replace the injured Terry Long on the offensive line that has been almost decimated this year. This is Hodge. Big hole. 7, maybe 8 yards up to the 28-yard line. Stopped there by Felix Wright, and the Steelers love to run right behind Tunchilka, number 62, who has been far and away their most consistent offensive lineman, now with Blankenship replacing Long on the right side at guard. Second down and a long one after the 9-yard gain by Hodge. Bubby Brister brings them up, trailing 3-0, early moments, first quarter. Preston Gothard, the tight end, in motion. Hodge, first down into Bob Golick and ahead to about the 33-yard line. So Hodge running straight ahead, and the Steelers remaining rather basic there. Clay Matthews assisting on the tackle.
They're basic, Sam, but a good sign for Pittsburgh fans. Did you see the movement of that offensive line? They just blew those white-shirted Cleveland Browns right off the line. You're going to see a lot of Hodge today. Got 100 yards, over 100 yards in his last game. Cleveland, on the other hand, has had a lot of trouble stopping the run.
And the Steeler game plan will come as no great surprise to Marty Schottenheimer, the head coach of the Browns, who said yesterday he expects Pittsburgh to keep it on the ground. From the 34 of Pittsburgh, 1st and 10. Warren Williams from maybe a yard to the 35, trying to move off the left side. Merrill Hodge leading the way and in behind the block of Craig Wolfley, but a gain of just 1. Number 99, Darrell Sims, starting at defensive right end. A great story there. Steelers' #1 draft choice a few years ago, and the Steelers cut him, picked up as a free agent by the Browns. Starts today for Carl Hairston, who is missing just his 2nd game in 13 years. As we check the 10-minute ticker, the Bears on a Neil Anderson run of 1 yard, up 7-0. It is 2nd down and 9. Lips in motion. Williams stumbles across the 35 and crawls to the 37, maybe the 38-yard line. Actually, he's across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Let's see where they spot the football.
Pittsburgh's just going to stay on the ground. Very basic. It says a little something, I think, about 2 things. A, the weather, and B, lack of confidence in their quarterback. Brister is still relatively young. has made a lot of mistakes, thrown a lot of interceptions. They're not going to put him in any kind of position to do that.
So with 3rd down and 1, double tight end, Hodge the first down across the 45 in the grasp of number 59, Mike Johnson, who Schottenheimer likes a great deal. 3rd-year man now out of Virginia Tech at 6'1", 225. But this has been the Merrill Hodge show early on, hasn't it, John?
No surprise either. Marty Schottenheimer and the Browns expected this. They're going to have to do something with that defensive front. There's just entirely too much movement backwards by the Cleveland Browns at this point.
Sam Clancy, number 91, the former Pitt basketball star. Bob Golick, the veteran nose tackle. And Sims starting for Harrison from the 47-yard line. Lips in motion. And to give to Hodge again to midfield. Clay Matthews assisting on the tackle. Gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd down 7. The Steelers have thrown but one pass, an ill-fated one at that, as it deflected off Hodge and was intercepted by Johnson in their first possession.
Good thing Matthews, number 57, was there. He makes a solo tackle. Everybody else has moved backwards.
Hodge 5 carries already for 26 yards. From the midfield stripe, the Steelers with a 2nd down and 7, moving the ball into the section they affectionately refer to as the dog pound here in Cleveland. Williams and Hodge remain the setbacks as Brister goes to throw his 2nd pass. Caught by the tight end Preston Gothard at the 45 of Cleveland, and just the 9th reception by a Steeler tight end this year. Gothard has 8 of them. Hinnant has 1. The Steelers stay away from their tight ends like they have the plague.
But they won't today because of those cornerbacks. There's number 86 wide open underneath the linebackers. Pittsburgh will not attack those cornerbacks of Cleveland. Dixon and Minifield, so they go underneath. You saw how wide open number 86 was that time.
3rd down and 2 from the Browns 45. Again, Hinnant and Gothard on a quick call. Straight ahead, I believe Hodge, the ball carrier, got close to a 1st down at about the 43-yard line.
I think this is the worst fear that Marty Schottenheimer and the Cleveland Browns faced coming into this game. You've got Pittsburgh that's struggling, 2-9. They're on the road. It's bad weather. It's very easy for Pittsburgh to feel sorry for themselves. So what Cleveland wants to do is jump out front early. But as you see Chuck Noll there, he's watching his team grind it out against the Cleveland Browns, maintain possession, and possibly get a score as we measure.
And to suggest that the weather is a factor today would be an understatement.
Yeah, but they'd be disappointed, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, if it was a nice day.
Absolutely. You talk about blue-collar teams. So it's 4th down. Steelers come up just inches shy, and they bring the punt team on.
Can we second guess that call? Why would they bring the punt team on now? At 2-9, what have you got to lose?
Well, I'm sure there's some fans back in Pittsburgh saying exactly what you are, John. Harry Newsom will punt. Leads the National Football League in gross punting, averaging 46 yards a pop. Punting to the ice cube, Gerald McNeil, and he shanked it. It'll roll dead at about the 23-yard line, but Newsom with not one of his better punts. And the Browns will begin after a punt of just 21 yards. 6:32 to play, 1st quarter, in a rapidly moving 3-0 Brown lead. Sam Nover, John Morris back in rainy Cleveland. Still have some second thoughts about the Steelers not going on 4th?
Well, it's easy to say that after he shanked the punt, but even before that, I think he should have gone for it.
So Kosar and company begin at the Browns' 23-yard line, leading here 3-0. This is Tim Manoa, the former Penn State product, and there is nothing there. The Steelers stack him up on the left side. Tim Johnson, a former teammate of Manoa's at Penn State, also in his 2nd year, along with Cornell Gowdy, 29. A gain of maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Not sure that Cleveland's going to have a lot of success with Manoa or with Biner trying to go wide. There's not a lot of speed back there in the Cleveland backfield. On a heavy, wet field such as today, you're not going to see much of the wide plays.
And the Browns 21st in the National Football League in rushing the football, but this day just cries for running the ball effectively. Kosar, 2nd down and 9. Play action pass. Throws downfield, and it is incomplete. Langhorne was the intended receiver. He being Bernie Kosar, thought it was a sideline pattern. Langhorne ran the fly.
Looking at Kosar's face, you think maybe he made a mistake. He threw the out. A little bit of pressure late here. I think he's got enough time to throw the ball. He'll get pressure late, looking downfield now. As you see Langhorne, number 88, well, we won't see it. We'll see Kosar take a shot, but he had time to throw the ball.
And he took a shot from nose tackle Gerald Williams after delivering the football. It is 3rd down and 9. Herman Fontenot, number 28, into the lineup. Langhorne, Brennan, Weathers, with Biner and Fontenot behind Kosar. And everybody into the pattern. Throws it to a wide-open Brian Brennan. First down at the 42-yard line. There's your possession receiver. In his 5th year out of Boston College, Delton Hall had the coverage, but a first down for Cleveland up around the 42-yard line.
Brennan's had some problems in the last couple of games with dropping the ball, and that's very uncharacteristic of Brian Brennan. Not this time. Again, look at the protection that Kosar has. The Steelers are going to have a problem all day if they let Kosar do this to him. Now Brennan has time to get wide open, and he doesn't drop this one.
And they'll have a bigger problem if they don't get to the quarterback, which has been their problem all year long. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense has had its problems getting to the quarterback. Forget the sacks, let alone the pressure. 1st and 10 at the 42. Second back is Biner for maybe a yard and then shoved all the way back. Brian Hinkle, 53, was there. So the Steelers playing the run rather effectively here in the first quarter of the game. They have only 16 sacks on the season compared to Cleveland's 29. So you don't need to be a genius to know the Steelers defense just does not get to the quarterback.
Hinkle made a nice play on that run, but it was Darren Jordan underneath, number 55, that really stopped that one. Pittsburgh, you're right, playing well against the run.
And with all of the running, the clock continuing to run, we're down to 4.5 minutes to play first quarter. 3-0 Browns following the interception by Eddie Johnson. Matt Barr, a 32-yard field goal if you joined us late, and that's it. 2nd and 9. Biner, the lone setback. Hermano it is. Kosar on the run. First down and more.
Crowd likes it here. They're getting used to this.
That's a headline story in Cleveland. Before that run of 13 yards in the first down, Bernie Kosar had 5 carries for a negative 10 yards this season.
Well, everybody says that Kosar isn't a scrambler. That's become almost a set piece when you talk about Kosar. He finds a way to get rid of the ball usually. He will not run like that, but he didn't look too bad running at that time, did he?
At the Steeler 44. They said he had no mobility. Well, he really doesn't. Throws this one. It's caught at the 38-yard line by Derek Tennell. His 2nd reception of the game. Knocked down by Brian Hinkle, who lost his footing. But the Browns handling the slippery conditions, I think, much more effectively than are the Steelers.
That'll be a little discouraging for Pittsburgh's front. They finally chased Kosar out in the previous play, and he gets away with it. This time they don't have any pressure on him, and he throws it for a good gain, almost a first down, 2nd and short.
Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4 at the Steeler 38-yard line. Browns already leading 3-0. This crowd still has not gotten over the fact that Kosar gained 13 on a scramble. Brennan and Langhorne are the receivers. Second back Biner has some daylight this time, but the hole quickly closes as he gets inside the 35. Cornell Gowdy, the strong safety, who plays the run very effectively, but usually comes down in 3rd and passing situations, made the tackle.
Yeah, Pittsburgh does a nice job of stuffing the run. Cleveland this time tried to pull a tackle. 74 Paul Ferrum will come down the line. It's a trap. You'll see him right there turning up. But again, Pittsburgh is in position to make the play. That was the cornerback Woodruff that came up and made a nice hit.
So on 3rd down and 1, I was just about to tell you, Ricky Bolden, number 77, comes into the lineup as the tight end, becomes an eligible receiver. And as this day goes on, John and I must tell you a story about Ricky Bolden and the Browns offensive line. It's the best little anecdote I've heard about a player in a long time. 3rd and 1. Biner, I don't know. Steelers stack him up with Hardy Nickerson, Greg Lloyd, 95. And at the bottom of the pile is Aaron Jones, number 97. So the Steelers continue to play the run very effectively, and we may need a measurement here.
I am impressed with the way the Steelers are playing the run.
As we again check the 10-minute ticker, that entire panel scoreless. Nobody's put points on there. Bears have scored again. Neil Anderson, a 17-yard run after a 1-yard dash. 14-0 Chicago. And the Lions on an Eddie Murray field goal of 22 yards lead Green Bay 3-0. Here it is also 3-0. The Browns in the lead, and a measurement here on 3rd and short. And they did not get it. It'll be 4th and inches.
Another one of those decisions. Marty didn't hesitate, though, did he? Schottenheimer was ready with the play.
Chuck Noll, who had the same situation earlier but elected to punt from inside the Browns 40-yard line. Schottenheimer inside the Steeler 35 will go for it.
I wonder if the criticism around Cleveland of Marty Schottenheimer as an offensive coordinator has any effect on his decision-making in that process. He's been accused of being a defensive coach, a little too conservative. I wonder if that enters into his thinking.
Well, he also is not used to the criticism. He has had a free ride here for 3.5 years in Cleveland. And now all of a sudden, with the offense sputtering, he has been under the gun. Bolden again eligible. Movement in the line. We'll just have to wait and see. Flags all over the place. Steelers are pointing to the Browns, as is customary. I'm sure Cleveland's pointing back, but I think Cleveland may have been guilty this time, John.
Wait and see. That was a quarterback sneak. That was the play. Looked like the left side of Cleveland's line jumped off. Now, if it is against Cleveland, and it is, according to Ozzie Newsome,
the left side of the Cleveland line was moving as the ball starts.
Certainly is, Ben.
That would be Newsome, Farron, Williams, all 3 of them.
Well, see, Schottenheimer goes through all that thinking about going for it on 4th down, and then the decision is taken away from him. Now he has to punt the ball. Again, mistakes, though. When teams are struggling, see the movement there on the left side? That looks like Paul Farron, the left tackle, that moved. Both teams struggling, both teams making mistakes.
Max Roniger, whose name may be synonymous with anonymity to some, but who's been around for a long time, and as that graphic pointed out, has in fact played in 2 Super Bowls. Fields a bouncing snap, tips to Lupe Sanchez, over his head and out of bounds inside the 5. Downfield was Mark Harper, number 23, and the Steelers will have awful field position with 53 seconds left in the first quarter. We'll be back.
We talked about Roniger being anonymous. He won't be for long after a punt like this. Mark Harper right at the cone, knocks it back, and Pittsburgh is really in a hole.
So from the 4-yard line, Hodge gets the call. Just powers his way ahead to the 8. Rodney Carter, number 24, joins him in the backfield now. Warren Williams was the starter as the halfback. Sam Clancy made the stop, number 91. And Clay Matthews, 57. A gain of about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. The Steelers running the ball from deep in their own end. And it's been almost exclusively Merrill Hodge carrying the football. The youngster out of Idaho State. In just his 2nd year, put on 18 pounds during the offseason. Play action, Brister rolling. Looking, throwing the ball, and it's caught by Louis Lipps at the 25. He arched the ball over David Grayson's head, and Brister got knocked down in the end zone after delivering the football. Brian Washington coming on a safety blitz, but 17 yards on the completed pass, and like that, the Steelers are out of trouble.
What a play by Brister. The safety blitz, you can see it from the outside right there. Washington, that frees up Golick, who comes over here thinking safety. Somehow or other, Brister gets rid of this one, and Louis Lipps makes a great play downfield.
And always the danger of throwing the ball from your own end zone is offensive holding, which is an automatic safety.
Could have been holding in there, but a good pass by Brister and a good catch by Lipps to get him out of the hole.
From the 25, 1st and 10. Carter 24, Hodge 33, and this is Merrill Hodge stacked up. Hanford Dixon comes in to close him out. And time will elapse here in the first quarter in a rapidly played quarter that has been kept pretty much on the ground. All we have to show for it is a 32-yard field goal by Matt Barr following Eddie Johnson's interception of a Bubby Brister pass. So at the end of 1, 3-0 Browns. We'll return to Cleveland in just a moment. Sam Nover and John Moore is back in Cleveland. Somebody once said there are statistics and damn lies, but this one is not a lie. Bernie Kosar outrushed the entire Cleveland Brown offense. 1 carry for 13 yards. The rest of the Browns, 5 carries, 7 yards, John.
Pretty much what you'd expect, except for that run by Kosar.
Yeah.
Looked as awkward as he always does, but it's still effective. But a typical Cleveland-Pittsburgh game, 3-0 on the ground. It's wet, it's cold. About what you expect when these two teams get together.
And the Steelers, of course, running the ball effectively themselves. So despite the fact they're down 3-0, so far this game would bode well for their offense. Even though Marty Schottenheimer knew they would come right at them with a run, the Steelers have been able to run the ball. It is 2nd down and 10. They're at the actually 2nd and 11. Hodge lost a yard and Brister to throw. Had Rodney Carter wide open, and he's looking for interference and will not get it. The coverage from number 35, Will Hill, the first-year defensive back out of Bishop College. And Carter still pleading his case, but to no avail.
No doubt what Brister thinks about it either. First quarter stats, Steelers 38 yards rushing. That's about all they've done. And most of that is with Merrill Hodge.
So it's 3rd down 11 for Pittsburgh, and they'd like to get a first down or two and give Newsom some room to punt the football. This is going to be a game of field position today. There's no doubt about it, with the weather playing such a large role, although the rain seems to have let up here. For the first time since late last night, the rain seems to have stopped momentarily. Brister with plenty of time. Now the rush is on, and he throws it into the Browns bench, but there's a flag down in the secondary. Penalty marker down at about the 38-yard line of Pittsburgh.
A little too much bump and run downfield, I think, by Hanford Dixon. As Brister started to scramble out of the pocket, I think maybe Dixon was a little too close to Lockett. Let's see if we can see it. This is Lewis Lips, number 83, on the other side of the field. Good bump and run coverage as is expected by Cleveland. That's the way they'll play most of the time.
Number 29 at 5 yards, and that's the first down.
Actually, the penalty occurred on the other side of the field. Dixon, when he saw the quarterback scrambling, just stayed a little too long with Charles Lockett. He got caught.
And a very costly penalty for the veteran Pro Bowler Hanford Dixon. And there it is right there.
Watch it there. Yep. Number 29 right here. You can see it obviously holding.
That's not holding. That's a mugging. So the Steelers with a big break get the ball at the 29-yard line. Dwight Stone makes his first appearance in the football game. Playing a receiver on the left side, looking for the reverse, and they fake it. Warren Williams keeps the ball and gains yardage out near the 40-yard line. Dwight Stone, who has been a running back, and this week worked out at receiver for the very first time. The Steelers were very pleased with him, number 20. And they faked the reverse to Stone, who's got 4.25 speed. Williams got the yardage.
Stone may be the only guy out here on either team that can run that kind of speed. They haven't got speed on either side of the line of scrimmage, but they faked the reverse, and nobody from Cleveland bought it. Now, that may be some history on the part of Pittsburgh's offense. They have run, I think, one reverse this year.
So it is 2nd down and a long one after the 9-yard gain. Brister now goes back and has awarded to it Merrill Hodge, who's been his workhorse. 3-0 Browns, early second quarter from Cleveland Stadium. Hodge, first down, bounces off the tackler up near the 44-yard line. And the Steelers continue to run effectively behind the patched-up offensive line that has Wolfley, who is a converted guard, playing left tackle, Reams for left guard, Webster, the veteran center, playing, by the way, the Cleveland Browns for the 30th time. Brian Blankenship, the right guard, and Ilkin, the right tackle.
And they're all doing a good job. Isn't that amazing? 30 times against one team. 216th game for Mike Webster in his 15th year in the league.
Needless to say, that is more than any other active player in the NFL.
He could be the Budweiser star of the game. We got an old center up here in the booth.
Named John Morris. 1st and 10. Brister almost intercepted. He hung that one out there, and Mike Johnson and Dave Grayson had double coverage on Lockett. Or was it Dixon? It was Hanford, Dixon, and Grayson. Either of them could have had it. Neither came away with it.
Dixon's been bothered by some nagging injuries throughout most of the year. Maybe not playing up to his normal standards, but he certainly does on this play. Good coverage downfield, too, by Grayson. A little help in the zone, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Cleveland is going to play a little more zone defense today than they might normally.
2nd and 10 at the Steeler 42-yard line. 3-0 Cleveland. And the rain has definitely stopped for the moment. A delay. Warren Williams breaks a tackle to about the 48-yard line, so it'll be 3rd down and about 5 for the Steelers. Again, it was Grayson, the second-year linebacker out of Fresno State, who has excellent speed himself.
Talking about Cleveland playing the zone, they've been famous for the bump and run defense, man-to-man coverage. Marty Schottenheimer told us yesterday they probably will play more zone today, not so much for the pass coverage, but because they're afraid of Pittsburgh's running ability. They want a safety in the middle of the field to take care of the running of Pittsburgh.
in a game that means a great deal to the Browns. The Cincinnati Bengals lead Dallas 7-3. We'll keep you apprised of how both Cincinnati and Houston are doing today. Rodney Carter into the lineup on 3rd down and 4. That is he in motion. Over the middle, in and out of the hands of Dwight Stone. It would have been enough for a Steeler first down, but he could not hold on to the football. As Brister gunned that one in there, and it may have been just a hair behind him.
Look at it again from the end zone. Let's see if it was behind him. I think it could have been caught. Dwight Stone has a chance for a first down here. Pittsburgh doesn't make too many first downs. They need to make them any way they can. Throws a little bit behind because of the defender there. That would have been a great catch. I don't think he could have. Uh-oh.
And the race is on for the loose football. The Browns try to get 6 out of it. They'll have to be content to recover it at the 2.
Just a bad snap from center Mike Webster. Well over the kicker's head. No chance for the kicker to catch. There's Mike Webster going off the field.
This is the second time it has happened to the Steelers this year. It also happened at the Meadowlands when they lost to the New York Jets. A snap from center sailed over Newsom's head just as it did there.
Well, so I know how Mike feels about that when the punter has to call for a fair catch on that one. No chance whatsoever. Pittsburgh has had an awful lot of troubles with his punting game all year long. 2 bad snaps, as you said, 5 blocked. Newsom doesn't look like he really wants to get that ball, does he?
So Ricky Bolden back in there again. And the Browns have it first down and goal to go inside the 3-yard line. And what can you say? The reigning veteran player in the National Football League. Nobody feels worse about it than he does. Manoa and Viner, the setbacks behind Bernie Kosar. Play action. In the end zone, Tunnell, touchdown, Cleveland.
Well, it doesn't get a whole lot easier than this. The play action fake, and everybody freezes in the middle there. You can see the linebackers too late getting out. Number 81, Derek Tunnell, wide open, easy catch.
And so the second-year pro out of UCLA, who came into this game with only 5 catches for 59 yards and no touchdowns, has 3 catches today, including a 2-yard touchdown reception from Kosar. Barr will attempt the extra point. Runiger places it, and into the dog pound it goes. It is a 10-0 Cleveland football game. And the Steelers on the verge of self-destructing again. 10-0 Browns. We'll be back. For New England and Detroit center, John Morris. This is Sam Nover in Cleveland. I said that for a reason, partner. You can tell him what it's like to snap the ball over somebody's head.
Believe me, I know.
One of the up men pitches it back. Stone breaks into the secondary at about the 35-yard line. Or was it Lupe Sanchez? It is 28. He pitched it back to Sanchez. Will Hill is the man who made the stop. But Sanchez carrying the ball and getting the Steelers excellent field position. However, there is a penalty marker down.
We'll wait and see what that call is. And getting back to Webster in that snap, I used to tell people that the only way a center can make a name for himself is to do something wrong. Ben Wright's making the call. That's not true in Webster's case.
Holding against the Steelers, so that will nullify the...
81, receiving team, that's 10 yards and it's first down.
That's the rookie tight end Mike Hinton out of Temple.
Mike Webster's reputation stands alone as one of the best centers that ever played the game. But that one got away from him. I don't know if he was responsible for the one early in the season. I don't think he was.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
He was responsible for the one against the Jets as well. Hate to pin him with it, but he'd be the first to stand up and take the responsibility. So the Steelers have to begin now back at their own 24, losing 10 costly yards of field position. And it's Warren Williams, the Miami rookie, diving across the 25 for short yardage, a gain of a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Clay Matthews is a man who cut his legs out from under him. And on top, Brian Washington, the rookie out of Nebraska, who had a 75-yard interception return for a touchdown in the first meeting between these two teams. Again, Cincinnati leads Dallas 7-3. The Browns trailing the first-place Bengals by 2 games. And Houston, whom the Browns trail by 1, leads Phoenix 10-0. Alonzo Highsmith a 7-yard touchdown run. Zendejas a field goal. 2nd and 8. Here it's 10-0 Cleveland. 11:20 to go first half. Brister in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Warren Williams. Washington had the coverage, but again another catchable ball, John Morris.
That one was catchable. Out of the backfield, actually lined up on the right side, just ran a slant over the middle. Brian Washington in coverage that time, but I think Warren Williams should have caught this one. Again, good protection for Brister. Good throw, too. That one should have been caught. Good coverage, though. A little credit to Washington downfield, too. Might have got a hand in there.
So it's 3rd down and 8. The Steelers now trying to rebound from the errant snap by center Mike Webster that went over the head of Harry Newsom. Gave the Browns a 1st and goal at the 2 when they cashed in on the first play from scrimmage. The touchdown pass to Derek Tennell. The blitz. Brister read it and delivered the ball to Rodney Carter, who was in the grasp of Hill again. Incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
Twice that Hill's been close, and Brister said something to the official again. 2nd time that he thought there might have been an interference. It looked like he tries to check this off, and he's down by the dog pounds, and he can't too much noise down there. Let's see it again. This 35 is Will Hill. I think that's just good coverage. Good play.
Brister 2 out of 7 for 21 yards. He has missed his last 5. The ice cube in single safety. Gerald McNeil. Block! Touchdown, Cleveland! Frank Minifield virtually took the ball off the foot of Harry Newsom and went in untouched for the touchdown, and the Steelers are self-destructing.
He wasn't the only one in there, Minifield. There was a host of white shirts in there this time. That looks like Hill 35 that may have blocked it. Minifield gets it. 36 is blocked it. That was Stephen Braggs, and I'll tell you something, Pittsburgh is having nothing but problems with his punting game. That's the 6th punt that they've had blocked this year, and that one was easy. Braggs, number 36, got in there clean and blocks it. Minifield picked it up and strolled into the end zone.
That is the 6th block punt of the season against Harry Newsom and the Steelers special teams. Minifield came out of there so cleanly with the football, I thought he had stolen it right off the toe of Harry Newsom. But it was Braggs who blocked it instead. The extra point attempt is up, and it is perfect. And the Browns have turned what was a competitive football game early on into a semi-runaway here early in the 2nd quarter. 17-0 Browns. We'll be back. An unenviable way to get into the record book, but Harry Newsom has done it. Nobody in the history of the National Football League has had 6 punts blocked in one season, and the Steelers still have 4.5 games left. And it isn't all Newsom's fault. Here's Dwight Stone to the 40-yard line. So the Steelers begin in very good field position following the short kickoff by Matt Barr. Again, it was Will Hill on the stop. 19 yards on the return. And the Steelers offensively certainly have done nothing to hurt themselves, but they have been killed by their special teams here today.
You know, getting back to Newsom, I don't think he's particularly slow when he punts the ball. I think there's got to be a problem with the blocking up front. They've changed the up man. Little is the up man that calls the blocking assignments. When 3 guys come in clean, something has happened up front. It's not the punter's fault.
So the Steelers begin just across their own 40-yard line, and they have their work cut out for them now. Down 17-0. A throwback screen to Gothard. 2nd catch by the tight end in one game. To the 45-yard line, and plenty of yards for a 1st down. Felix Wright, the free safety, who's having a Pro Bowl season for the Browns, made the stop. 15 yards on the completed pass. And a reminder to our viewers that we will be selecting the Budweiser MVP for today's game at the conclusion of the game.
Tight end screen back to the other side to Gothard. And unfortunately for Pittsburgh, those 2 mistakes on special teams have taken them out of their game plan. Now they're going to have to do this sort of thing when before they were running the ball pretty well.
From the 46 of the Browns, the Steelers desperately need to score here on this drive. Williams cuts it inside to about the 40. Stopped by a nose tackle, Bob Golick, number 79, in his 9th year out of Notre Dame now. And a look at the Steelers' first 4 possessions of the day. They ran the ball effectively on their 2nd and 3rd possessions. but as you see, had the punt block, and that was the disaster.
Well, and the bad snap, too, and a young team will make a lot of mistakes like that. Also, a team that's lost 9 games is going to make a lot of mistakes.
And in all honesty, that fumble is not credited to the offensive unit, but to the punt team. 2nd down and 4 at the 40-yard line. Hodge again. Stacked up this time. The Browns do a much better job. Golick again, 79, and Mike Johnson, 59.
Well, it's still early in the game, obviously, a lot of times, 17-0. If you look at the scores around the league, but I don't think Pittsburgh can stay with his running game plan. They're just not going to generate enough points to get back in the game.
Well, knowing the Steelers' offense and Chuck Noll and offensive coordinator Tom Moore as I do, I beg to differ with you. I think they very much will, certainly for the remaining part of this half if they can.
Well, they opened it up a little bit against Denver and were successful.
Michael Dean Perry, 92. Charles Buchanan, 72 in the lineup. It is 3rd down and about 1.5 yards. Brister looking for a receiver, has all day, can run for it himself if he chooses. Gets out of bounds and gets the first down at the 32 or 33-yard line. And it was Perry who ran him out, the number 2 draft choice out of Clemson, who they say is going to be quite a football player, John.
I think he may be better than his brother, his well-known brother. Watch Brister this time, the scrambling former baseball player. Plenty of time to throw it, but does the smart thing. He can see that he's got plenty of room over here. Just get the first down. That's all we want at this point, he says. Watch the hook slide into the point here to get the first down. Ooh, he looks like he played some baseball. He's not going to get his spikes caught in the ground with that one.
Walter Andrew Brister III. Very mobile quarterback. Steelers like him a lot. There has been some talk in recent weeks. Should the Steelers finish with the worst record, would they opt for Troy Aikman, who was everybody's choice as the #1 man coming out of the draft? Here's the home run ball to Stone, and it's over his head. Stone turned in, and Brister threw the ball outside. Wright had the coverage. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Steelers.
If you're going to throw it deep and go to the end zone, you better block the linebacker. Matthews has got there trying to block him. No chance at all. Gets the inside. And you can see Brister just getting rid of it before he gets decked.
8:37 to play first half. The Browns leading 17-0.
Clay Matthews, a veteran outside linebacker. Marty Schottenheimer was really high on him. He says, you know, when the pressure's on, I need those veterans out there. That was a big play right there.
This is the 4th-ranked defense in the National Football League and #1 against the pass. And what would you expect with a couple of Pro Bowlers at the corners in Minifield and Dixon? 2nd and 10. On the delay, Rodney Carter gets inside the 30 to about the 28. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. Sam Clancy, the former Pitt basketball star who holds the Panthers' rebounding record. The Pittsburgh connection here with the Browns is unbelievable, John. It would take about 5 minutes to read them all off, but it seems like half of the organization has a connection with the city of Pittsburgh. As you look at Chuck Noll and Denny Fitzgerald as linebacker coach.
And Chuck Noll has let a couple of them go that are players here. I'm talking about Buchanan and Sims. Sims, a former #1 of Chuck Noll's.
And Barr.
And Barr, too. That's right.
It is 3rd down and 6. The ball at the 29-yard line. The Steelers 2 out of 4 in their 3rd down efficiency today. This is an absolute must, trailing 17-0. First sack of the day. Clancy was there, so was Clay Matthews, all the way back at the 43-yard line, and that takes all the mystery out of the 4th down decision.
Well, it takes it out of the decision, but you never know what's going to happen on 4th down when Pittsburgh's back there. The blitz is on this time. You see Matthews there. He gets blocked, but the safety blitz is on. That forces single coverage downfield, and with Dixon and Minifield, you're not going to get open too often. Matthews put some pressure on, but he had some help from his friends.
15-yard loss by Brister, and the Browns call a timeout, and Matthews not happy about it, coming over to the Browns sidelines.
Well, he probably thought he was held. All defensive players, when they're rushing the passer, if they don't get there, they were held. That's the only thing that stopped them.
7:47 to play in the half. It's all Brownies at this point. We are back live in Cleveland. Harry Newsome that time was able to get the punt away, and he kicked it into the end zone. He wasn't thinking about sidelines and knocking it out at the 5. He just wanted to get it away after the block punt. So Newsome into the end zone. The touchback, and the Browns will begin at their own 20-yard line. 7 minutes, 40 seconds to play, 2nd quarter. It's still 17-0 Cleveland. We'll be back. As you can see, the rain has returned to Cleveland Stadium. Of course, this stadium located just off Lake Erie, and it is coming down in buckets now. It let up for a short time, just long enough for the Browns to get 2 touchdowns, might I hasten to add.
Hasn't bothered the Browns at all.
Not at all.
The field is in fairly decent shape, though. The Browns right now are on the infield part that's been resodded.
Browns offense has only had the ball for 1 play here in the second quarter, yet they've scored 2 touchdowns. From the 20-yard line, first down and 10. Biner the setback behind Kosar, and shakes out of the grasp of the tackler, gets about 2 or 3 yards. Aaron Jones, I believe, along with Tim Johnson, 78, gain of about 3. The Steelers defense has played. Jones is still down, and he is hurt. Steelers #1 draft choice out of Eastern Kentucky, 6'5", 257, has played a bit undisciplined at times this year, but the Steelers like him a lot. A lot of people say so did Joe Green when he came into the league, for that matter. That's not to suggest that Jones will be another Joe Green, who, by the way, happens to be his coach.
I played against Joe Green many, many times, and Chuck Noll said that, he reminded him a little bit in the sense that Aaron Jones was undisciplined early in his career. Joe Green was undisciplined early in his career. I remember Joe Green being undisciplined late in his career as well. Aaron Jones, 11 penalties this year, 15 tackles. There's Mean Joe Green right over there. I got to tell you, that's one of the best that ever played this position. If he can just give a little bit of that ability to this line that he's got out there, they'll be good players.
And might I add, a quality man.
Quality man, and not a bad commercial he filmed one time either.
No, he sure didn't. While they've got a timeout on the field here, we alluded to this story about Ricky Bolden earlier. I just think it's a great story. Ricky Bolden, let me preface it by saying the Cleveland Browns have a rule that the offensive line, you just don't call attention to yourself. It's simply an understated rule. You don't do anything to call attention to yourself. So Ricky Bolden caught a touchdown pass against Phoenix and got fined $50 for calling attention to himself. He then proceeded to paint the football and keep it as a souvenir. He got another $50 fine. And the president apparently came to a Cleveland Browns practice or a game recently and caught who threw a pass and who caught it, but Ricky Bolden, and he got another $50 fine from the offensive line.
Kangaroo court for the offensive line. Don't call attention to yourself. A great story. Mike Webster may get fined a couple times today for calling attention to himself.
If he played for Cleveland, he surely would. It is second down and 7. The Browns at their own 23-yard line. Jones now obviously on the sideline and being attended to. We'll wait for the report. This is Herman Fontenot, stumbling to the 25. 4-year man out of LSU. Fontenot was a linebacker in high school. Went to LSU because they promised they would play him as a running back, but instead they converted him to a wide receiver. And when he came here to Cleveland, they made him a running back, as we check the other scores around the league again.
That's an old story from the player's point of view. Don't ever believe a thing a coach tells you.
Cincinnati and Houston continue to lead their respective games. That is not good news for the Browns, who trailed the Oilers by 1 and the Bengals by 2 in the AFC Central Division. The Bears on 2 Neil Anderson touchdown runs continue to lead Tampa Bay. Third down. Kosar. They got a hand on him, and they finally knocked his pass down. And I think it was Ricky Bolden who was the beaten man there. His man got away, Keith Gary. And so it'll be 4th down for Cleveland. Boomer Esiason has just thrown a touchdown pass to Holman, and the Bengals have gone on top 14-3 in their game.
Watch it again. He's trying to throw to Gerald McNeil over the middle. You can see him come flashing across your screen right there. I think it might have been a misread. Kosar, though, isn't it amazing how he hangs in there as long as he does? He ran once today, but he'll hang in there somehow or other and get rid of the ball.
Penalty flag is down. Runniger never got it away. It was a low snap, and that wind now is starting to wreak havoc with the football, and obviously with the playing conditions. It is swirling in the center of the field and blowing the rain in every direction.
Listen to Ben Dryce's call, but we've seen several poor snaps, a couple of bounces, one over the kicker's head. The natural assumption is, well, it's because of the weather conditions. They put a clean ball into play on every single play, but look at the wind right there. That's a problem.
Runniger back at his 5. He's punting to Lupe Sanchez, who only one other time this season fielded a punt. That was earlier in the year. Fumbles the ball. Steelers have him back at the 5-yard line. So the Browns return the favor and give the Steelers a 1st and goal at the 5. And the referee or the umpire had to pull Anthony Henton away from Max Runniger. Henton almost got a penalty for trying to intimidate the player.
This isn't going to be a highlight film for either one of the special teams today. Punting has been exciting, to say the least. A slow snap that time, and it bounced. But I think that maybe running could have had that one. He fumbled it, and again, Pittsburgh has a chance. Cleveland's returned the favor. See, it looked like he took his eye off of it. Looking downfield, looking to see where the blocking was, just took his eye off the ball. And now Pittsburgh has a chance to do what Cleveland did to them.
The punt snapper is Frank Winters. It certainly was not his fault at all. That was a perfect snap. It was Runeger who lost the handle on the ball. First and goal outside the Browns 5 for Pittsburgh. Brister rolls right. Running out of room, and he goes out back at the 8-yard line. So the Steelers, who have run the ball effectively in this game, come out throwing on first and goal at the 5 and lose 2 and maybe 3 yards. You go figure.
Good job by Eddie Johnson. Brister, pretty mobile quarterback, but he runs to throw and not to run downfield. This time nobody open. You're watching as he rolls out. He's looking to throw. He's not looking to run this ball. Number 51, Eddie Johnson, will get over there and force him to get out of bounds.
Well, as John said earlier, Brister, who slides very effectively, was in the Detroit Tigers organization and, in fact, played in winter. So the Steelers use their first timeout, and that is Tom Moore, offensive coordinator, talking with Bubby Brister. As I mentioned, Brister in the Tigers organization and playing winter ball in. Am I interrupting them, or are they interrupting me? I haven't figured it out yet.
Take those microphones away from the officials, huh?
Boy, you talk about calling attention to yourself. As I started to say, the story I'm trying to tell you is that he once played for current Pirate manager Jim Leland.
And I knew you could get that out.
I got it out. Coming up next on most of these NBC stations, stay tuned for the second half of our football doubleheader. Most of you will see the Denver Broncos battle the New Orleans Saints in a crucial game for 2 playoff hopefuls. Plus, of course, we'll have regional action. Check your local listings for the game in your area.
Aaron Jones, who went out earlier with an injury, has a bruised left elbow. The report is he will return.
6:06 to play first half. The Browns lead at 17-0. They have just turned the ball over to the Steelers at the 5. Steelers lost 3 yards on first down. It is second and goal at the 8. Lips in motion. Brister rolls left. He's got room. Going to run it. Stopped at the 5 and spun to the 3-yard line. Felix Wright, number 22, is there.
Second time in a row that Brister's had to scramble out of the pocket. I'm not sure it's because of the pressure that Cleveland's putting on him. Not a great deal of pressure by the defensive line. Give credit to those guys. The secondary is doing an excellent job in the end zone. It's just a 3-man rush this time. Play action fake. But Brister, as goalie goes down, really has got some time to throw it. Now he's starting to run, and he won't run upfield. He'll look to throw the ball, but good coverage in the end zone.
On third down and goal at the 3, the Browns bringing in their goal line defense with Michael Dean Perry, 92, Darrell Sims, 99.
Look at Mike Johnson get over there. Good hustle to get over there to the quarterback.
5:15 to play second quarter. Brister rolls right again. Looking for a block, throws it in the end zone. Touchdown to Mike Hinnon. The rookie out of Temple, but a flag is down. A penalty marker down. Hinnon with his first touchdown reception. But it will not count.
Actually, the play was stopped dead by the delay of the game, and that's the reason he was so wide open in the end zone. Chuck Noll saying, what do you got to do to get a touchdown? It's not easy, Chuck, when you're 2-9. It's a lot easier when you're winning 4 Super Bowls. Those things don't happen to you.
Ain't that the truth? So the delay of game, it is third down and goal back at the 8-yard line. Noll has done wonders to maintain his composure this year under an avalanche of criticism. Actually, people coming out and screaming for his scalp. It has been alluded to many times during the 80s, but this year they're just coming right out, writing it in the paper, saying it on radio and television. The man's got to go, but Dan Rooney, the Steeler president, has stood faithfully next to his coach. Into the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Lips. Pointing to Minifield, and I think the Steelers are going to get the interference call. And it'll set up the first and goal at the 1-yard line.
Let's see if that's what happens. Let's see again if Minifield's... The blitz is on, so Minifield's going to be in single coverage down there. There's the bump that's allowed. Let's see if there's another bump. He's got his back to him. That looks like a lot of bumping going on in that end zone. I think that's the right call, Sam. Pittsburgh gets a break. Minifield doesn't think so, and neither do the 80,000 people here in Cleveland, but I think that's a good call by the official.
Even if he holds, Minifield and Dixon are two of the, it's just a pleasure to watch them play man defense, I'll tell you. It's not played any better anywhere in the NFL, even if they occasionally hold and grab.
Defense, pass interference, 31 in the end zone, ball on the 1-yard line.
Still pleading his catch. Got to agree with you. Pro Bowl starters, Minifield and Dixon. Both of them hurt a little bit this year, nagging injuries, but still the best at the positions.
4:32 to play. The clock stopped on the penalty call. Browns now with 5 penalties for 27 yards. The Steelers with only 2 for 15. The Steelers have been heavily penalized this season. First and goal at the 1, so they get a reprieve. Hodge in motion. That's Warren. That's Rodney Carter for the touchdown. He walked in. Number 24, Rodney Carter, gets the Steelers on the board. And so with 4.5 minutes to play in the first half, the Steelers trying to inch their way back into this game, John Morris.
Well, they took advantage of it. Cleveland did everything they could to give them that touchdown. It was set up by the runner dropping the snap. That gave Pittsburgh excellent position. The penalty in the end zone gives them a first down. Hey, there's 6 points. Take it. And this is an easy touchdown. Good blocking up front, big hole. Even you could have gotten through that one, Sam.
Yep. Gary Anderson for his 197th consecutive point after. That is the longest current streak in the NFL, and that is Mr. Automatic in every regard. So the Steelers finally get on the board. Their offense has not played badly. In fact, their defense hasn't played all that badly, but their special teams have been disaster, and with 4.5 minutes to play first half, they are down by 10. It needs to be said, I think, in the Steelers' behalf that this is a very young football team, as again you check the 10-minute ticker, and Houston has scored again. Warren Moon to Drew Hill, 50 yards, and they lead Phoenix 17-zip. 29 of 47 players have 3 years experience or less, and so this team has got to grow up.
So maybe Pittsburgh's expected to make some mistakes. At least there's an excuse for their mistakes. But on Cleveland, they have to win this game. They're expected to be in the playoffs. They're struggling to make it. They had them buried 17-0, and a mistake by Cleveland on the punt lets Pittsburgh back in the game. They really have struggled, Cleveland has, all year long. The offense has struggled. They're 6-5, lost 2 games, and they got blown out in Denver last week. And Marty Schottenheimer starting to feel the pressure a little bit here in Cleveland.
Well, he's making his point perfectly clear, using finger gestures and all.
But my point again is that they really had a chance to bury Pittsburgh. Instead, it's 17-7, very much a football game.
So it's Gary Anderson to do the kicking off. Fontenot is deep along with Young. Young bobbles the ball at the 8. Comes back to the 15, the 20, breaks into the open. Finally knocked down. Anderson over there to help with the tackle up near the 40-yard line. Gary Anderson, the kicker, had to make the tackle on Glenn Young. And the Browns now have field position up around their own 40-yard line.
It'll be the first time that shirt ever got dirty.
32 yards on the return. What do field conditions like this do to a player?
Well, it's not comfortable, that's for sure, and it's cold out there, too. But I think as far as the play today, neither team has any speed on offense, so the slow, wet field shouldn't affect them too much.
So Cleveland begins from the 39 with 4:19 to play here in the half. And the Steeler defense trying to get the ball back for its offense one more time. Fontenot met head-on by David Little, spins to the 43-yard line. As the 8-year veteran from Florida was the man who made the stop. It is Little, by the way, who now calls the punt blocking assignment and has to bear some of the responsibility for that punt of Newsom's being blocked that turned into a Frank Minifield touchdown.
So nobody on Pittsburgh is volunteering for that job lately, are they?
No, I guess not.
It was Hodge earlier, I think, that was doing it.
It was indeed Merrill Hodge. Gain of 4, second down and 6 at the 43. Kosar and the offense of the Browns under his leadership have actually only put 4 touchdowns on the board in the 3 games since he's been back. This is a first down pass to Reggie Langhorne at the 50-yard line. Rod Woodson is the man who made the stop, and I believe that is Langhorne's first catch of the day. So the Browns able to keep the clock moving and hold on to the football as they get the first down at the 50-yard line.
I like the way Kosar hangs in there. Watch the linebacker from his blind side. Now, you know Kosar knows this guy's coming. Still gets rid of it. There's the shot right there, and a good pass.
The ball officially spotted in Pittsburgh territory at the 49. 17-7 Browns. They've scored on a Kosar to Derek Tunnell 2-yard pass following Mike Webb and the second timeout by the Browns. So they stop the clock with 2:59, and I just have to assume this is confusion. Marty Schottenheimer is the offensive coordinator since Lindy Infante left the team. There he is again. Since Infante left to become head coach of the Green Bay Packers. You talked to Schottenheimer at great length yesterday, John. He's under the gun to a certain extent.
Schottenheimer's an old teammate of mine. We played together in the old Boston Patriots back then. That's how old Marty is. He's under the gun, but he said that he has to accept the responsibility as the head coach no matter who calls the plays. He's feeling the pressure. He's a defensive coach. He's admitted that he's inexperienced at it. He's learning on the job.
A reminder that Thanksgiving Day, be sure to join NBC Sports for exciting football action. It begins at 3:30 Eastern with NFL Live. Then a Texas shootout, the Oilers and the Cowboys for bragging rights of the Lone Star State. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen. For all that action, Thanksgiving Day only on NBC. Only 10 men on the field. That's why the Browns had to call the timeout.
That's happened a lot to them this year, too.
1st and 10 at the Steeler 49. Minor under the pile to the 46-yard line, gaining 3, and again David Little with a stop.
But that was the call, 10 men on the field. That's the second or third time that's happened to Cleveland this year. And again, that can be pointed right at the head coach. He's responsible, or at least the offensive coordinator, for making sure the situation players are on the field when they're supposed to be there. And Marty's gotten a lot of criticism in the Cleveland media and by the fans for that. It's the third time it's happened.
2.5 minutes to play in the half. 17-7 Browns. They have a 2nd down and 7 now at the Steeler 46-yard line. Browns offense really misses Kevin Mack, and Schottenheimer will tell you right off the bat. For Langhorne, incomplete. Dwayne Woodruff had him covered, and Thomas Everett got over as the free safety for the double coverage. But Langhorne was covered very easily by the Steelers, and I think Bernie may have pretty well thrown it the only place it could have been caught by his player.
Nice job by Woodruff, though, downfield. Excellent coverage by the veteran.
So it's 3rd down and 7 now for the Browns. The clock stops on the incompletion. This has not exactly been a haven for offensive fireworks today, as the statistic would indicate. The Browns, with only 88 yards of total offense, still lead at 17-7. Thanks to some errant play by the Steelers special teams. Kosar not using the shotgun. Throws to a man wide open. Brennan inside the 20. And he was wide open. The Steelers rushing only 3 men. Had 8 back in coverage, and still Brian Brennan was wide open.
They talk about the intelligence of Bernie Kosar, but that's his strength. You could see him pointing out the blitzing linebacker that time. Told his lineman, block him, give me time, and I'll find the receiver. He certainly does on this one.
1st and 10 Browns at the Steeler 18-yard line after the 28-yard completed pass to Brian Brennan. Fontenot wants to throw the football. Steelers had him. They've got him again. He delivers the ball, and it is incomplete. Twice the Steelers had him in their grasp. I believe Greg Lloyd, 95. The first-year linebacker out of Fort Valley State. They had it for a huge loss. He threw it up for grabs. Nobody got it.
This is why coaches are reluctant to call these kind of wide-open plays. Greg Lloyd does everything he can to stop this one. Misses him the first time, but Fontenot, now looking for a place to run, runs into the linebacker Lloyd again. Don't throw it now. Take the loss. This could have been a disaster for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And because of running backs, for the Cleveland Browns, because the running backs are not accustomed to being under that kind of pressure, coaches are reluctant to even call that in the first place.
2nd down and 10 at the 18, so the Browns really dodge a bullet there. Fontenot in motion. Kosar says, I'll show you how to throw it. Knocked out of the hands of Brennan by Rod Woodson, who's just having a banner year. May very well be the Steelers' MVP. Does everything on this ball club and had excellent coverage on Brennan.
What a nice job by Woodson, who's playing hurt today. We see Brennan come down across the middle. Woodson, number 26, will come into view and makes an excellent play as he closes on the ball and knocks it away. And that's with that injured right shoulder that he made the play. Good play by Rod Woodson, who held out for a long time last year. He may be worth every penny they gave him.
2nd overall leading tackler on the team. That tells you something about the defense when a cornerback is 2nd in tackles. Third down and 10 now at the 18. Steelers trying to hold them to a maximum of 3 here if possible. And maybe nothing. Kosar over the middle. It's caught at the 10. Are they going to rule it's complete or incomplete? Greg Lloyd looking for the incompleted pass. It'll be shy of the first down. It'll be 2, maybe 3 yards shy. Langhorne with the completion. And Matt Barr, who is now 20 out of 23, is on to get the 3 points from Marty Schottenheimer and his offensive unit.
Kicking into the wind, too. The rain has let up a little bit. We can't say that it stopped completely, but at least it's not coming down the sheets that it was earlier. But he is kicking into the wind.
And Runniger will spot the ball at about the 18-yard line. Let's call it a 28-yard attempt now for Matt Barr. 1:05 to play in the half. Runniger spots it. Barr misses it. Off to the right. So Matt Barr has missed for only the 4th time in 24 attempts. The former Pittsburgh Steeler gives the Steelers life again.
And the Browns are doing everything they can to let Pittsburgh back into this one.
And one gets the feeling that they may very well, John. They got a whole half to get organized.
This one hits the upright. Plenty of leg on it. The wind didn't affect this one, but it'll hit the right upright and go the wrong way. Kicker's the first one to know. Let's see the reaction. He says maybe, maybe. Will it go inside? Maybe? No.
A glancing blow off the right upright, so the Steelers take it with 58 seconds to play in the half at their own 20. They fumble the ball. They try to delay to Merrill Hodge, and he dropped the ball but fell right on it. A loss of 5 yards as Clay Matthews then fell on top of Hodge.
Got some confusion in there. Looked like a collision with John Rienstra and Hodge. They were lucky to get it back.
The Steelers might be well advised here to run the clock out. And knowing the conservative approach that Chuck Noll has taken to many a situation, you can expect that to happen.
That would probably be the call from Noll. That's right. You can tell him, say, calm down over there. He's telling everybody.
Talking to Hal Hunter, the offensive line coach, and using gestures. Steelers hope this is the last play they have to run of the first half. Hodge goes down after short yardage. And they will escape, I do believe. I don't think the Browns will even stop the clock. They have a timeout remaining, but they will not. So the Steelers, despite the fact their special teams, well, just when I said they probably wouldn't, they do.
Not quite sure why. If they were going to do that, they might have wanted to done it a little sooner than that.
Well, they've still got some work to do, and it's for sure that Marty Schottenheimer has not escaped the wrath of the criticism, because his offense is not exactly chewed up ground here in Cleveland Stadium today. And had it not been for his special team and the faulty play of the Steelers' special team, he might very well be trailing in this game.
I think you're right, and I think the reason that Cleveland has fallen to 6-5 really has to rest solely on the offense. They've struggled all year long, and it's not all Marty Schottenheimer's fault. He'll take the blame because he's the head coach. But when you haven't got Kevin Mack in there, that's your running game. And when you haven't got Webster Slaughter in there, that's your passing game.
And you talk about dilemmas for Marty Schottenheimer and the Browns. They have only one move remaining from injured reserve back to the active roster. And on the injured reserve list are Webster Slaughter and Mike Pagel, a quarterback that they could very well need before this season is over. Third down, Brister just flops on the ball. The Browns cannot stop the clock. So why he used it, I don't know anyway, but that will expire time in the first half. Quickly recapping the 32-yard field goal by Matt Barr, 3-0 Browns. Then following Mike Webster snapping to the ball over the head of Harry Newsom.
Resistance to fouling or runs cooler. The high-output technology spark plug by Champion. Because the inside of a car is changing a lot faster than the outside.
Roughing Up the Boss, tomorrow at 4 on the People's Court.
With John Morris, Sam Nover back at Cleveland Stadium where the Browns lead at 17-7 at halftime. I must confess, I've been here many times, and I've been here on worse days, but it is getting bitter cold. The temperature's dropping. It is wet, and it is windy.
Wet and windy and cold and uncomfortable for the Cleveland Browns, Sam. Pittsburgh's got a chance to win this game, especially if they can keep their punter off the field.
Let's take a look at the first half statistics. Neither team was an offensive dynamo, so to speak. Obviously, as you know from watching the game, the Steelers with only 96 total offensive yards, the Browns 123. The big figure there, it has to be turnovers. The Steelers came into this game, John, leading the NFL with 30 turnovers. They add 3 more today. Their giveaway takeaway is now -9. That's got to be near the top of the list.
Steelers are getting killed by the takeaways, turnovers, but I think the real story of this game is the lack of offense by either team. That's not a real good sign for the Cleveland Browns. Forget what happens in this game today, whether they win or lose. For the rest of the season, Cleveland has got to get a little more offense going if they got any chance to think about the playoffs. I think today, though, Pittsburgh's got a good chance to pull this one out. Bernie Kosar on the field right now warming up, and again, it's a question of the weather as far as his passing game. The rain's been on and off throughout this game. Right now, it's just sort of misty, but every now and then the weather becomes a big factor as far as the passing game is concerned. I don't know. The talk was early in the season, the last couple of times, whether Kosar was hurt or not. I've been looking for that, Sam. It looks to me like his elbow is okay.
As you see, Bubby Brister warming up on the sideline. Steelers not able to throw the ball effectively at all in the first half. They did run the ball on occasion quite well. Merrill Hodge was the workhorse early on, but then the Steelers got into some trouble, went down 17-0, and started to throw the football to try to get back into the game. So they did, in one sense, vacate their game plan. But I would think that down 17-7 here in the third quarter, they will go right back, John, to what they did earlier, try to run the ball effectively and try to work on the clock and hang on to it.
And I think they can run the ball. They showed early in the game before that got out of hand that they had the ability to run against the Cleveland Browns. And it's only 17-7. There's time left to do it. If they can maintain possession on the ground, certainly have time to win the game.
So the Browns will receive here to start the third quarter. Gary Anderson has the ball on the kicking tee at the 35-yard line. 17-7 Cleveland. The Browns, and of course this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. The two teams directly ahead of the Steelers, of the Browns in the pecking order. The Bengals and the Oilers are both winning, as you saw during the halftime report. And the Browns content to down the ball in the end zone to begin at the 20-yard line.
Talking about the Browns offense and how they've struggled the last couple games and earlier today. Let's not forget they're playing against the worst defense in the National Football League, at least according to statistics, and they haven't been able to do much against them.
The newspaper people here in Cleveland, the fans, were deeply concerned about the fact that not only did they lose their last two games to Houston and Washington, but the Browns were embarrassed in both of their encounters. But it needs to be pointed out that this is a team of great poise and leadership under Kosar. The same kind of thing happened to them last year. They lost 2 games in late November and went on to win their last 3, finish 10-5, and get to the AFC Championship game. They begin with Manoa 42 in front of Biner 44 at the Browns 20 to start the third quarter. That's Biner for 3 yards and down with David Little, who's played outstanding football today, along with Nickerson 54 and Brian Hinkle 53.
I think this is an important second half of football for the Cleveland Browns. Yes, they're up 17-7. Looks like they're in control of this game, but they haven't played very well. And if they're thinking playoffs, and you know they are, they've got to start wondering a little bit, are we good enough to be in the playoffs? They've got to play better than they have in this football game and than they have in the last 2 weeks if they expect to be in the playoffs.
That big offensive line led by Cody Rison, who's having a Pro Bowl year, number 63. Fike, 69, who they expected to be a Pro Bowler this year and still could come on at the right guard. 2nd down 7. Kosar sidearms the ball, and it's caught out here. Langhorne runs into Thomas Everett, breaks away. Touchdown, Cleveland.
Just what the doctor ordered for Reggie Langhorne and the Cleveland Brown fans. If ever they needed a big one, it was right there. Good job by Kosar to sidearm this one out of there. But really a nice job by Langhorne. I think it's some sloppy tackling, particularly by number 49, Dwayne Woodruff.
You took the words out of my hand. Right here, Thomas Everett, 27, just did an awful job. All he did was bump into him.
What is he trying to do there? I mean, he's just trying to intimidate him rather than make the tackle. And that's just not a very smart play by Everett. And Langhorne will not go down with a bump like that. Takes it all the way.
That is the longest touchdown reception of Reggie Langhorne's career. So the Steelers again make a fatal mistake. 77 yards, Kosar to Langhorne, and all of a sudden it's 24-7.
First the sidearm, now watch the tackle. Missed tackle there.
It's not only the longest reception in Reggie Langhorne's career, it was also the longest touchdown pass in Bernie Kosar's career. 77 yards. Brian Blankenship, an offensive lineman, catching the ball on the run and going out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
Fine him $50.
Calling attention to himself. 5 yards on the return. The Steelers had to have their hearts in their mouths that he might drop the ball, but he caught it cleanly and took it out of bounds. And so the Steelers again make that one fatal mistake, and this time it was clearly the free safety Thomas Everett who could have knocked him down in a myriad of ways, elected to bump into him. And Langhorne bounced off Everett and raced untouched the rest of the way to the end zone. Hodge. Bob Golick's grasp, and down he goes. That will make it extremely difficult for the Steelers now. Gain of a couple of yards, 2nd down and 8. Pardon me, partner.
If ever Cleveland needed a touchdown, it was that the most timely one they've had in a long time. It was at 24-7. And really the only offense that Pittsburgh has shown today is right there, Merrill Hodge. That's not going to be enough.
Just underway here in the 3rd quarter, so the Browns electrify this nearly capacity crowd, although a few have stayed away because of the rain. Warren Williams split out wide to the right. Louis Lipps to the left. I don't believe Lipps has caught a pass today. He has been interfered with once. Hodge on a delay. Has some open room across the 40 and out of bounds near the 48-yard line. That'll be a Steeler 1st down. Up around the midfield mark. Frank Minifield ran him out. But the Steelers using the delay running game. Merrill Hodge 13 yards. That's 51 yards now of offensive running for Mr. Hodge.
Doing it with the draw, delay draw here. Watch number 59, Mike Johnson, comes in, runs right by it, and Hodge cuts up the inside. That's the plays that they're going to have to run. Eddie Johnson, I'm sorry, made that play. That's the kind of plays they have to run. Just handing it to Hodge up the middle isn't going to get it done.
At the 48, 1st and 10 Steelers. Williams 42 along with Hodge in the backfield. Brister has time, flares it out to Williams, has nobody there to block for him, and he's knocked out of bounds. Actually stayed in bounds. Minifield had the coverage. Eddie Johnson 51 out there along with Minifield. But you talk about being naked. Warren Williams, the 6th round draft choice out of Miami, had nobody to help him.
Well, he's just the outlet receiver over there. Brister had nobody downfield. Again, good coverage by Cleveland secondary. You flip it out there to Williams and hope that maybe he can break a tackle. No chance on that one.
So the Steelers try to develop some offensive continuity. 2nd down 9 at their own 49-yard line. They got Williams split out here at the left. And they block it, and get straight ahead to about the 47-yard line to Merrill Hodge for about 3 and maybe 4 yards. It'll be 3rd down and long. Michael Dean Perry, number 92, making the stop.
Nice job in there by Bob Golick, too, number 79 right there at nose tackle. If they're going to start running draws, now they'll take him out on 3rd down, so Golick comes off the field. But if they're going to start running draws, Golick, the nose tackle, almost has to be the spy. Just hang in there and make sure that back doesn't get the ball.
Just been a nightmarish day for Brister throwing the ball. 4 of 11 for 35 yards. Just having an awful time. Charles Buchanan, another former Steeler, is in there, number 72. Brister steps up, throws, and drops. Little low intended for Rodney Carter. Around the end of the sticks. Will Hill again had the coverage, but it's incomplete. It'll bring around 4th down, and this has been an adventure for the Steelers today. Harry Newsome is on.
Hang on, folks. Cleveland's gotten 2 touchdowns out of this play.
4th down and 5 with 11.5 to play. 3rd quarter. Webster still the long snapper. They look like they're all coming, don't they?
Can you blame him?
Low snap!
You know, this is getting to be a mental thing with Mike Webster. I can just sense it with him, having been through it myself. You throw one bad one, and all of a sudden it's in your head. You can't get it out. You've got to think positively. You can see it's a mental thing with him, upset with himself, but
that was not a good snap, but I'm not so sure that Newsom should not have fielded that one. We'll check it out after this.
Harry Newsom, Pittsburgh's punter, is not having a fun day today. Had some troubles with this one. This is the third bad snap of the day. Now, this one possibly could have been handled. A little low and left, not a perfect snap, but maybe he's a little gun shy at this point, too.
So the Browns will take over at the Steeler 42-yard line. That's the good news for the Steelers. It could have been a lot worse. 24-7 Browns. They already have a touchdown on their first possession of this quarter. And looking to put this one on ice. They beat the Steelers 34-10 here last year. It was their passing game that self-destructed on the Steelers last year. 6 interceptions. His play-action pass for Kosar, and then he threw it out to Manoah. They fooled everybody, it looked like, on the field. But that pass was incomplete. As I started to say, it was the passing game that self-destructed in the second half. 6 interceptions alone for the Steeler quarterbacks. Today it's been the special teams, the punting game.
Well, when it's going bad, you never know which direction it's going to come from. Pittsburgh's had problems all year long. Unfortunately, that guy, one of the best centers that ever played, is going to wear the goat's horns today.
Manoah 42 and Herman Fontenot also in there, but Manoah is the lone setback behind Kosar on 2nd down and 10. Stays in the pocket, throws it over the middle, and it's deflected and incomplete. Steelers can't even get a bounce. Thomas Everett, Greg Carr both had a shot at it. It was intended for Reggie Langhorne, who has the touchdown reception, but it fell harmlessly to the ground.
Did somebody deflect this at the line of scrimmage? It didn't have a good tight spiral on it. Of course, that's Kosar anyway. Let's see if we can see it. Steps up into the pocket. It looked like somebody. No, just a bad pass by Kosar. But anyway, you can see Langhorne slipping. Hits the defensive back in the head. That's the way it's going, Dwayne Woodruff. And you say the Pittsburgh Steelers can't get a break because it falls harmlessly to the ground.
Hits Woodruff in the helmet and drops between 2 Steelers. Kosar 9 of 16 now, 171 yards on 3rd and 10. He's had time to throw the ball most of the day. Throws this one. It's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Brian Hinkle. Brennan was the intended receiver.
Kind of wonder why Kosar was throwing on that series. Pretty much in control of this game. It looked like he was looking for more, but they didn't get it.
Bengals running away from Dallas now and hiding, leading 24-3, and Houston very much in command of the Phoenix Cardinals. So it looks like even if the Browns win today, they still have problems. They will at best be 2 games out of first, a game out of second. Runeger punting to Lupe Sanchez. Over his head. I'm waiting for a signal into the end zone, touchback. So it'll come out to the 20-yard line, and there's a marker down back at the 50-yard line. There is a penalty marker down, so let's hold it here for a second.
We're going to get Clifford Charlton for holding when he was blocking on this play. He's a linebacker, doesn't know how to hold and get away with it.
I have a feeling the Steelers were just
holding number 58 at the 10-yard penalty, and it's 4th down.
Well, they're going to make him punt it again. That is a little bit out of character for Chuck Noll, who considers the 20-yard line when somebody has the ball in your territory as good field position. So I'm a little bit surprised.
You're being tough on Chuck.
No, I just know him for a lot of years.
Well, if Pittsburgh were in this situation, they wouldn't want to punt it again. That's for sure, the way things have been going for them.
Then I think that's precisely why he's making Runeger do it again, because it's been an adventure. Runeger has not exactly escaped unscathed today. He dropped one. It led to the Steelers' only touchdown. So the Steelers looking for that opportunity one more time. Good snap. Runeger. Line drive punt right at Sanchez. Fair catches the ball, and the Steelers end up losing 6 yards after a 10-yard penalty. Now you tell me whose day this is. 10:53 to play, 3rd quarter. The Browns very much in control after a 38-yard punt. Sam Nover, John Morris back in Cleveland. The Steelers have to begin this drive right in front of the dog pound, and it is very loud. Brister to Merrill Hodge, trying to get outside, gets 5, gets maybe 6 or 7, dragged out by Felix Wright. That is an awfully tough place to play when you're down there in that end zone. They're very loud and make things very difficult, and Cleveland fans have never been too kind to the Steelers, but now that they're down, a little boot in the chops to help them.
They put nasty signs up, too.
They sure do. Please be kind to the pitiful Berg Steelers. They don't know how to win anymore. From the 21, a gain of 7 by Hodge, 2nd down and 3. Brister rolling to his right, fires to an open, threw it in behind his intended receiver, who was Louis Lips. Brian Washington with a nice play, but I think the pass was thrown in behind Lips. He had him wide open on the sideline.
Brister on the run again. A good play by Brian Washington, though, to come over and make the play. Brister's been on the run most of the day. We'll watch Lips this time, see if you can see. There he is, 48, Brian Washington, who reads it all the way and comes across and makes the play. Maybe the ball's thrown slightly behind him. Yes, it is.
Way behind.
But on the other hand, Brister has been on the run, trying to throw on the run all day.
Marlon Jones, 95. Charles Buchanan, 72. Michael Dean Perry up front for the Browns on 3rd down and 3. The Steelers with Rodney Carter now in the slot to the right. Brister may be audibleizing. Over the middle, complete. Up around the 33-yard line, and they get the 1st down. Number 89, Charles Lockett, 2nd-year receiver out of Long Beach, Cal State. With the catch, his first of the day, 12 yards.
It wasn't audible. It was right over the middle, one-on-one coverage that time. Dixon's behind him all the way, but Brister did audible, which is a difficult thing to do with that dog pound right behind you. The audible allowed Merrill Hodge to come up and make the block on the blitzing linebacker.
Bubby now 5 out of 14 for 47 yards throwing the ball today. Steelers with a little room to work. 33-yard line. Williams trying to cut it back. Turns into the flow at about the 40, at the 35, I beg your pardon. Bob Golick was there to meet him. So Warren Williams getting 2 or maybe 3 yards on the carry. Let's give him 3. It'll be 2nd down 7. The Bengals and Oilers remain completely in control. That Jets-Buffalo game, Leahy and Norwood have exchanged field goals in a defensive struggle, and the Bears have scored 21-6 over Tampa Bay. Seattle and Kansas City. The Chiefs have been tough on AFC Western Division foes in Kansas City. And here it's 24-7. The Browns. Plenty of time left in this game, however. 9.5 minutes, 3rd quarter. 2nd and 8. They got him. Michael Dean Perry, 92. That time, I think they came with 4 or 5, John.
That was the Bear defense, what Cleveland calls the Bear defense, stolen from Buddy Ryan, the old 46 defense for the Chicago Bears. What they're trying to do is just get as many people penetrating across the line as they can, and it works.
It is also a defense that confused Bubby Brister badly in Pittsburgh earlier this year, and the Browns were saying yesterday they hoped it would do it again, and it did on that occasion. 3rd and 16 now for Brister. Webster, who calls all the line blocking assignments, will point to players on the defensive line. They got him again. Michael Dean Perry. Playing to the dog pound.
Excellent job by Michael Dean Perry, the younger brother of the famous one. This time it's John Riester that has his hands full, number 79 on the left of your screen there. And Perry, with excellent speed for a big man, just blew right by him and made the sack.
And now, as if that isn't bad enough, the worst is yet to come. They've got a punt.
I think Michael Dean Perry is the player in that family.
From the 5-yard line. Good snap. Newsom gets this one away. It'll bounce in front of the ice cube and takes a Pittsburgh bounce, and McNeil gets away from it. It'll roll dead at about the 31-yard line. So Newsom got off an excellent punt with absolutely no return, and they got themselves out of trouble in a hurry. 24-7 Browns.
Collective sigh of relief over on the Pittsburgh bench. An uneventful punt that time. Bernie Kosar coming on the field very much in control of this one at 24-7. The last time he came out throwing the ball. I think this time they'll just try and use up the clock and stay on the ground.
49 yards on the punt, and of course it is all net. So the Browns begin at the 31-yard line, and with all this clock left, they've got Manoa 42 and Fontenot behind him, and he's going to pass it again. Little screen out in the flat for Fontenot. Breaks one tackle and dives ahead across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Brian Hinkle is the man who made the stop, 53. But the Browns picking up 5 yards on first down. That gives them a lot of options on 2nd and 5.
Scored 2 touchdowns last year as a rookie. And the sophomore jinx has really gotten him. He's still down on the field, and Chuck Noll saying to himself, what more can happen to my team this year?
Let me correct that graphic we had up moments ago. The Browns were not 7 for 7 on third downs. It didn't seem possible. They were 2 for 7. They are now 3 for 8. So we apologize for the misinformation. 6:42 to go third quarter. There is no misinformation on the scoreboard. It's 24-7. The Browns leading the Steelers and having it much their own way. And this looks, well,
you saw them looking at Delton Hall's right knee that time, and it got caught up in the turf as he tried to make his turn. You know, you saw Chuck Noll over on the sideline, and I'm not going to try and make excuses for him, Sam, because he doesn't need me to do that for him. But he's under a lot of pressure back in Pittsburgh. He was a big story in Sports Illustrated about maybe the game has passed him by. When things like this happen, all these injuries, and he's not out there on fourth down. He's not on the field either. Maybe you can't blame everything on Chuck Noll.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Cleveland Browns of the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Cleveland Browns. All rights reserved. Nice to see Delton walk off under his own power. But it's a first down for the Browns at the 43-yard line, just shy of the 44. After the completion on third down to Reggie Langhorne. All day for Kosar. Had that one batted back in his face. May have been Gerald Williams, 98, the nose tackle, who reached up and knocked the ball right back into his face again.
Defensive linemen are told if you can't get to the passer, just jump up in the air and maybe you'll get lucky. I think this is what happens right here. Gerald Williams, number 98, obviously very well blocked, and in desperation just jumps up, as he's coached to do by Mean Joe Green, and gets a play out of it. Number 69, Dan Fike, was the offensive lineman on him. Very frustrating for an offensive lineman. You do your job as well as you can do it right here. Fike has done it, and still he blocks the pass.
Second down and 10. Manoa and Viner now, and Ernest gets the call. Flag is down as he sprints out to the right and gets about 3 or 4 yards up to the 48-yard line. Stopped by Aaron Jones, 97. Hardy Nickerson also coming across. And the cornerback Dwayne Woodruff, 49. But a penalty flag is down. And the Steelers are indicating it is motion against the Browns.
Offense, illegal motion. The back was moving before the ball was snapped. Illegal motion.
Ben Dreif,
5 yards.
the referee. 6:07 to play third quarter.
Kosar gave him the flag back and said, keep that in your pocket, will you?
Put it away for good.
You're looking at Biner there, and you can't help but think how much the Cleveland Browns miss Kevin Mack. Remember those days with Biner and Mack, and that was what got him to the championship games. And Mack has only played in 2 games this year, and they really have missed him.
7 penalties for 42 yards for Cleveland. Hard to believe that Bernie Kosar will be only 25 years old on Friday. He was born the day that JFK was buried.
Hard for me to believe that anybody's going to.
He's been here, what, 4 years already? Already had a distinguished National Football League career after an outstanding college career at Miami. Rushes on, and the Steelers get to him. Anthony Hinton, and you just mentioned, John, a moment ago, a flag is down again. Hinton playing like a man possessed today.
You know, he's getting his chance to play, and he's taking advantage of it. I think somebody held him along at the same time and didn't hold him well enough. Let's see. But at any rate, a good play by Anthony Hinton. No, the other way.
That was the first Steelers sack. It will be nullified.
Legal use of the hands, number 78 defense. 5 yards from the previous spot, and that's the first down.
Well, that's the way it's been going all year long, and today is no exception. Tim Johnson, probably an illegal head slap or a hand to the face. You can't do that anymore. Penalties all year long by that defensive line of Pittsburgh. I mean, there's been a lot of offsides by Pittsburgh and hitting after there's Joe Green, the defensive line coach. He's seen enough of this for 1 year.
We're told that Delton Hall did injure the knee, but he could return if needed from the 44-yard line. The automatic first down, a head cock from Noel, is about all the emotion you're getting today. I have seen him furious, running the sideline, stark raving mad on occasion. You just get the feeling that he is resigned to the fact that this is the way the year is going to go.
Illegal hands was backed by the quarterback, so he has to go from that spot 5 yards to get up to the line of scrimmage, and it's first down.
Okay.
So
Ben Dreith explained it better than I can.
Yep, they'll walk the penalty off from the spot of the infraction. And I believe that means instead of the 44, it'll come back to somewhere in the neighborhood of the 39 or 40. Tim Johnson's a pretty good football player, and one of the redeeming qualities in the lost season, so to speak.
Well, he has played well, but he's young. He's only in his second year. And again, it's mistakes like that have been so costly. And those are really not, they're stupid mistakes is what they are. What Aaron Jones did last week, a play like that is not going to turn the game around right now. But still, those kind of things have happened to the Steelers all year long. Joe Green's trying to figure out some way that he can teach these young guys, be enthusiastic, but only while the play's going on.
Well, the Steelers are 2-9 this year, but Joe Green knows exactly what it's like. You know what they were his first season in the league?
Yeah.
1969, the Steelers' first season for both Green and Chuck Noll. They won their first game and then lost their next 13 in a row.
Joe, as he's talking about slow learners, you don't have to read between the lines to know he's talking about Aaron Jones right there.
And a few others. 39-yard line is a line of scrimmage. It is a Cleveland first down. 5:20 to play. Third quarter has gone on for an eternity. It's 24-7 Browns. Manoa weaving his way into the secondary before thrown down by Thomas Everett. That time Everett wrapped his arms around the ball carrier. It was Biner. Was it Biner instead of Manoa? I believe I said Manoa. It was Tim. Okay. Everett making the stop. Clock continues to move under 5 minutes now.
Now I can see why Kosar is coming out throwing the ball. The obvious thing you think of is run the ball, use up the clock. Well, Cleveland doesn't run the ball very well, at least not today. Kosar's got to throw it to maintain possession.
He's talking about the Pittsburgh connection for so many of these Browns. Not only did Manoa go to Michigan State, he started at North Allegheny High School, which is in the North Hills of Pittsburgh, so he spent many a year there. Second down 5. This is Biner. Running into Little and falls forward just shy of the first down. David Little has played very well as Biner will come up about a half a yard shy of the first down. It'll be third down as we go back to the 10-minute ticker again. Touchdown pass for ex-Steeler quarterback Cliff Stout, replacing the injured Neil Lomax. And Phoenix gets on the board, now down by 10 to Houston. Everything else remains the same as Ricky Bolden comes into the lineup on third down and less than a yard. (24-7) Cleveland now trying to work on the clock. 3:45 to play third quarter. And the give this time is to Biner's got the first down and more. Heil driving his way to the Steeler 45 and inside to the 44-yard line. As the whole pack moved that time with Paul Ferrin leading the way. The left tackle, number 74, now in his 6th year out of Boston U.
Some good blocking up front. Manoa gets a block as well. And you can see the pile moving backwards. Those are black shirts going backwards. 74 is Paul Ferrin. That's what it takes to have a successful running game.
Well, it's no comparison if you're talking about matchups. The Steelers are just an undersized football team in every regard. Their defensive line undersized. Linebackers are smaller. Their offensive line, of course, for years have been known as small and squat and strong. First down inside the 45. And the Browns averaging about 281 across that offensive front. And Biner in behind him, but a flag is down in the Steelers secondary. Pass intended for Ernest Biner.
Well, we've got another flag in the backfield right here. We were talking about that's Anthony Hinton. He thinks that Paul Ferrin had him by the face mask. Now it's going to be a question of who gets called for the penalty. At least Hinton was smart enough. Yep. Okay, they're going to call it against Ferrin. And Hinton was smart enough to keep his poise and not start a fight.
Which is exactly what Aaron Jones did not do against the Eagles yesterday when he was enticed into a fight by Ron Heller in a most costly situation. The Steelers losing to the Eagles.
Foul on the offense. Holding on a defense. We're going to play it over.
Well, they're going to play it again anyway, so they're offsetting penalties.
You know, that one always bothers me with those offsetting penalties. You can see Hinton's upset, and I don't blame him because Ferrin did have a hold of him by the face mask. Let's see if we can see. It'll be on the left of your screen. Number 74, Paul Ferrin, number 96. Here, right, here's where it starts. Now, you really can't get a picture of it, but at least Hinton kept his poise. But these offsetting penalties, Sam, seems to me they accomplish absolutely nothing. Why not? There it is right there. You can see him. He grabs his, takes his helmet off.
Well, you couldn't more graphically see the difference in physical size that I was talking about than those two standing up to each other. Farron at 6'6", 280, and little linebacker Hinton, little over 6 feet, weighs 230.
Well, Hinton was smart. He didn't start a fight because he didn't have his helmet on. That's
right. 2:28 to play. The offsetting penalties. We're back to 1st and 10 now at the Steeler 44-yard line. My goodness, this third quarter has gone on interminably. Kosar with time. Sidearms the ball. Incomplete. Too low. Intended inside the 30-yard line. Now a fight. And you knew it was just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time. It's Aaron Jones again. He got a hold of Kosar and slammed him to the ground. I thought I'd see a penalty on that one. And the Cleveland offensive line got a little put out with that, and I don't blame him. Let's see if we can see it again. There's Kosar in the pocket. Now here comes 97. Now watch what happens. That's a little too much.
Swung him around a little bit.
Now you can see their offensive line in Cleveland. They're not happy about that at all.
Then Gerald Williams pushes one of the Browns into the pile.
Look at that. 11 penalties and 17 tackles. It's not a real good ratio.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Lucky he didn't get a 12th one right there.
1:53 to go third quarter. It is still, by the way, 24-7 Cleveland. The Browns have had this ball for what seems the entire third quarter. And they have the only touchdown on the first series on a 77-yard pass from Kosar to Langhorne in the first series here in the third quarter. And now the official stops the clock again.
It was down to 3 seconds on the 30-second clock, and they had a problem with the clock here, evidently. We'll let Ben explain it. Well, he's not sure yet. He's going to go backup help here.
We were talking about the necessity of the Browns at the outset of our broadcast. John was talking about the necessity of the Browns winning at least 4 of the remaining 5, if not all 5. They're going to lose a lot of tiebreakers. They have already lost 5 games in the conference, and they can ill afford really to lose even one, I think, coming down the stretch, because there are 6 teams tied at 6 and 5, and all of them have better conference records than do the Browns.
If you're a Brown fan, I think you've got to be a little bit concerned, if not downright worried. This team right now, even though they're going to win today, doesn't look like a playoff team to me. Got a lot of problems on offense. The defense not playing all that well. You see the remaining games for the Browns right there, and Houston and Washington not exactly easy. It's going to be a tough foe for them, and even if they win those, they're not a sure thing to make it as a wild card.
Oilers have stretched their lead again. Moon to Givens, 30 yards. Houston leads Phoenix 31-14. Cincinnati 24-10 over Dallas. Herschel Walker has scored a touchdown. Here's Manoah. Bounces off Tim Johnson after a gain of just a couple of yards. The Browns running game has been almost non-existent today, although they haven't needed it. Under 2 minutes to go third quarter. It'll be second down and about 8, John.
Well, they would have needed it today if Pittsburgh had not made all those mistakes in the punting game. It's a much closer game without that. And we said it at halftime, Pittsburgh had a chance to win this game, but it's these crazy mistakes they're making. It's not as though Cleveland's outplaying them.
Second down and 8. 3 receivers being used by Bernie Kosar. He's got Biner and Fontenot in the backfield. Back to pass, flags down all over the place, and Biner drops the ball.
We'll give Aaron Jones another penalty.
His penalties may surpass his tackles before long. The clock may have expired. First of all, we may have some offsetting penalties here.
Defense offside, number 97, at the 5-yard penalty.
Well, I guess that's the only one.
You know, all these penalties, there's only one way to solve this if you're a coach, and that's start taking it out of his paycheck. That'll get his attention. You'll see it right there on the left of your screen. He jumps a little bit too soon, and he's been called. Pittsburgh's had a problem with that, not just with Aaron Jones, but with most of the defensive line throughout the season.
All year. All year, there was one game in which they had 3 of them back-to-back in one series, which was mind-boggling. 3rd and 4 now for the Steelers. They have just kept the Browns in this football game, of course, accounting for the lead that they enjoy at the moment. Still Fontenot and Biner behind Kosar. And again, whether they were drawn, of course, we'll wait and see.
It's going to be exciting football, isn't it?
They'd like to think that they were drawn.
All-star offense number 69. 5 yards. Third down.
Dan Fike.
Dan Fike is number 69, the right guard, right in the middle of your screen right there. Obviously moved. Can't do that.
He's going to get another ball. Or...
Is it my imagination, or are most of the circumstances in this third quarter setting pro football back 10 years?
Oh, my goodness.
This has been a sloppily played third quarter, and despite the elements early, it wasn't all, well, we did have a couple of fumbles, didn't we?
And it's not over yet. Anything can still happen.
The rain has stopped. Noel looks almost bemused, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's seen a lot of this year, hasn't he?
Almost a little smirk on his lips. Kosar stepping up in the pocket. Has a wide open receiver. Brennan again, and two Steelers collided as they tackle him inside the 25-yard line, but Brennan's had quite a day. Everett and Rod Woodson smashed into each other, and I think Everett got the worst of that. He is getting up very slowly.
It looks like he hurt his knee. Everett will be number 27. But watch Brennan here. This is an excellent catch because the ball is a little bit behind him. And Kosar stepping up again as he's done all day long. Brennan across the middle sliding and makes a great catch right there. Now watch 27. He's going to hurt his right knee. Everett did right there. His left knee, I'm sorry. Brian Brennan, 3 catches today. Nice comeback by him. He was their leading receiver last couple of years, playing well today. That's Everett, second-year free safety. Yeah, right behind the left knee right there.
And again, checking out-of-town scores. Boy, Buffalo and the Jets still locked in that 3-3 tie. As we mentioned, Herschel Walker scored, so Dallas trying to get back in the game at Dallas. Phoenix trailing Houston very big. Bears still lead Tampa Bay in the fourth quarter now. Minnesota 9-0 over Indianapolis. Kansas City on a field goal has broken that 14-all tie with Seattle. And the Lions lead Green Bay 9-3. Of course, we invite you to stay tuned for the second half of our doubleheader. Denver, New Orleans. As the clock continues to move now, under 40 seconds to go. You've heard of the longest yard. This is the longest quarter. Brennan, 3 catches, 66 yards today, and they've all been, I think, third down conversion. And he gives on to Biner. Biner inside the 20-yard line, wrapped up by Tim Johnson and Brian Hinkle, and David Little was there again. He's got double-figure tackles today, does David Little. And that, folks, will bring to an end the third quarter that has seen the Browns pad their lead. They led 17-7 at the break, got a 77-yard touchdown pass from Kosar to Langhorne to lead at 24-7, and that's where we are through 3 quarters. At the end of the third quarter, Cleveland 24, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Stadium, Sam Nover, John Morris, and 77,131 faithfuls who have braved inclement weather here. Only 2,769 unused tickets today, and most of them are enjoying every moment of it. The Steelers probably have 10,000 in the seats, but basically, obviously, a Cleveland partisan crowd. It is 2nd down and 6 inside the Steeler 20-yard line, and the Browns lead it 24-7, looking for more. Biner squeezes through for 2 or 3 yards. Getting off the bottom of the pile, Greg Carr, 91.
It's a lag draw that time, but Biner is the back carrying the ball. Tim Manoa is the lead back. He's supposed to be in front of Biner. That time he was behind him.
So it'll be 3rd down and 3 here for the Browns. They're certainly in range for a Matt Barr field goal, who missed one today, and that's headline news. He had only missed 3 in 23 previous opportunities, and then missed on his 24th when he hit the upright. 3rd down for Bernie Kosar and the Browns. Got time, throws it, and a receiver come clean late for him. It was a tight end, Derek Tennell, who caught a touchdown pass to get the Browns started early. And so it'll be Matt Barr now attempting to force the Steelers into a larger deficit.
When Kosar has that much time, he usually completes it.
Barr 20 out of 24 on the season, having his greatest year ever. He's a former Pittsburgh Steeler, and contrary to what a lot of Steeler fans may think, Barr did not come here from Pittsburgh. He had a brief stop in San Francisco. After the Steelers cut him, he was picked up as a free agent by the 49ers, had a cup of coffee there, and was traded to Cleveland, all within a matter of a few weeks or months. And this one is dead letter perfect from 34 yards out. So Matt Barr is 2 out of 3 today. And more importantly for the Browns, they have widened their lead to 20 points. 27-7 Cleveland. Will be back with the kickoff in a moment. The Steelers have had some offensive problems this season, but you talk about ineptitude. 123 yards of total offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers through 3 quarters today. And there is one of the many reasons why they trail the Browns 27-7. This is Sanchez across the 20. And he gets near the 30-yard line before he is leveled. And that's where Bubby Brister and company will go to work after an 18-yard return.
Have to reintroduce Bubby Brister to the football. It's been so long since he's seen it. Cleveland had it for over 9 minutes on that drive.
Herman Fontenot is the man who made the tackle. And so the Steelers now needing 3 touchdowns and 3 conversions to wrestle the lead away from the Browns. That's providing, of course, that they can hold Cleveland scoreless here in the 4th quarter. But their task is quite simple. Play action for Brister. Done a lot of rolling today, and he dumps it off to Hodge, who's knocked out of bounds by Mike Junkin, the #1 draft choice last year out of Duke. You talk about having a lifetime worth of problems in a year and a half.
Kind of nice to see him in there, though, isn't it? He had a wrist problem last year as a #1 draft choice after 4 games, missed all of last season, came back this year, looked like he had won a starting job and got hurt again. But he's back in there now, and they think he's got some potential. So do I. He could be a player.
Gain of 6 yards on a little swing pass to Hodge. 2nd down 4. This is Warren Williams for absolutely nothing. Darrell Sims on the top. On the bottom, 59, Mike Johnson. What is it that Schottenheimer told you about Mike Johnson, John? He really thinks he could turn out to be his best defensive player in a matter of time. Huh?
He thinks that he is right now. Could be, right up there with one among his best. Thinks he has a lot of potential. Of course, Marty is an old linebacker and appreciates speed in a linebacker. I remember Marty as a teammate, and speed was not what made him a good player. It was his brains. He sees speed in this guy, number 59, and sees a good player.
3rd down and 6. No gain by Williams. Rodney Carter, 24, is in the lineup now, as is Charles Lockett. Steelers do not use the shotgun. Never have, perhaps never will under Chuck Noll. Brister has a receiver wide open. It's Troy Johnson. He was 1 step away from breaking it all the way. Brought down by Brian Washington, the free safety, and the rookie out of Nebraska. But Troy Johnson, whom the Steelers acquired earlier in the season after being cut by the Phoenix Cardinals, is limping and was not expected to play.
Won't see this too often. Number 29, Hanford Dixon, misses a tackle. Quick inside pass. Actually, he didn't miss the tackle. He went for the ball and didn't get it. And Troy Johnson almost broke it all the way.
There's a man with 4.3 speed, and Johnson limps off the field. He might have gone all the way. From the 49 now of Cleveland, Steelers need to score a lot, and they need to score in a hurry. 27-7 Cleveland. Brister 7 for 16, 70 yards. Play action. He is running for his life now. Throws it along the sideline, intended for Louis Lips, just a little bit tall. Minifield closed quickly on the ball, but that ball was also a little bit too tall for Lips.
Cleveland's been criticized for lack of pressure. There's Minifield coming up trying to make the play. For lack of pressure on the quarterback. They haven't had any sacks in a couple of games, but they forced Brister today to run the ball, at least to roll out a lot.
Tight end Mike Hinnant, who has the touchdown catch for the Steelers, jumping up and down. Here I am. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Yeah, but he's on the wrong side of the field. His quarterback's over on the right, and his quarterback's got a lot of problems.
Brister and Lips have not hooked up today at all. Last week they had a field day against the Eagles. Louis had 6 catches, including an 89-yarder. Catches run right there and goes out of bounds. His first catch of the day inside the 30-yard line of Cleveland. So just as I mentioned the fact that Louis Lips had been shut out, after catching an 89-yard touchdown pass and 5 others last week, he gets his first of the day.
Pretty good battle right here between 2 of the best at their positions. 83 Lips, 31 Minifield. A perfect pass by Brister. Not a whole lot Minifield can do. Did you see Minifield try and slap it away? That wasn't successful either. Lips held on.
Well, I'm not having a much better day than the Steelers. That was Lips' second catch. Seemed like his first. At the 25. Hodge to about the 23, gaining 2 on the carry. Bob Golick is the man who made the stop. His first catch must have been eons ago. I can't even remember it. But he's given the Steelers a chance now to get back into the football game. He's got 2 catches for 40 yards on the day.
Actually, he's playing pretty well this year, if you can say. On Pittsburgh, it's been not too many people playing well. Lips is. He had an 89-yard touchdown pass. And what was he, Rookie of the Year? Pro Bowl in his first year, got hurt, but he's done pretty well this year, coming back.
His first few years were just amazing. He had hamstring problems in 86 and 87 and did not perform well at all. His first 2 seasons, Lips had 104 catches, 26 touchdowns. 2nd and 8. Quick one intended that time for Charles Lockett, who's screaming that he was being held. Hanford Dixon with the coverage.
Well, Lockett screaming. He was held, but well after the ball went by. That's when he was tackled. No chance for a call that time.
So it'll be 3rd down and 8. Dwight Stone into the lineup. Young man whom the Steelers really had great hopes for as a running back, but he fumbled the ball 5 times, turned it over 3 early in the year, and they just have shown no confidence in going back to him at all. Now they're working him as a wide receiver. He's got the great speed, number 20. That is Rodney Carter in motion, however. Brister dumps it over the middle to Stone, and he can't hold on. Is it intercepted? No.
What a play by Hanford Dixon. This is why Dixon has the reputation that he does and why he's been in the Pro Bowl. Brister's looking over the sideline like, say, what am I supposed to do? Now watch number 29, Hanford Dixon, one of the best at his position, and he's all over the receiver this time and gets in and strips it away.
You can't play man defense any better than that. You just can't.
That's how they draw it up.
4th down. Steelers with obviously nothing to lose at the 23-yard line. Have 8 yards to go to convert. They are not good at converting 4th down. 2 out of 10 this year, converting at the rate of 20%. Brister just throws it up into the end zone, and nobody there. Now a flag goes down. Now a penalty marker is down, way away from the football.
Brister threw it up for grabs because he was under unbelievable pressure.
Will Hill had come on the safety blitz.
Flag came late downfield. Let's just sort it out, let the officials decide. But there was no chance that anybody on either team was going to catch that football.
They may decide that even though the infraction took place, the ball could not be caught where it was thrown.
Offense number 79, illegal use of the hand. Holding on 31 on the defense. We're going to play it over.
Rienstra and Minifield. Neither one of them likes the call. I can understand Minifield. I can understand why he feels that way. He wasn't anywhere near the football. Rienstra's going to go back to the huddle. He's not going to even argue about it, but I don't think it's going to be the turning point of the game.
So the Steelers will get yet another crack at converting 4th down. At the 23-yard line, and they're driving right into the dog pound.
The way they haven't converted on 4th down either from scrimmage or when they're punting. Either way, they have trouble with 4th down.
27-7, the Browns. Still plenty of time if they can get something going here. They're rolling. Brister rolling right into trouble. Throws it back. It's intercepted. Frank Minifield.
He says, justice is served, okay? Throw a flag on me, I'll come back and intercept it. His 3rd interception of the year.
Intended for Louis Lips, but Brister had no chance.
This is a design rollout. Minifield read it all the way, made the play.
So the Browns hold. Steelers still trail it by 20, and we'll be back.
Field.
On 1st down from the 16-yard line, Kosar gives to Herman Fontenot, who gains about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 9, and the Browns now will be more than content just to work on the clock and pick up a few 1st downs. As you look at Frank Minifield, his 3rd interception this year, he's got a touchdown today. He has obviously played excellent pass defense because Brister has had nowhere to throw the football.
Amazing player, isn't he? A free agent, 5'9", one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
2nd down 7 for Cleveland, just shy of their own 20-yard line. Just trying to put the finishing touches on a 27-7 football game at the moment. And it'll be the 3rd year in a row that they will have swept the series from the Steelers. That one was overthrown. Intended for Derek Tennell, the tight end, with Cornell Gowdy back. But it was overthrown, and I still can't believe that Kosar's throwing the ball as often as he is. Stopping the clock now with 10-11 to play.
He's been the only offense over 200 yards throwing the ball. Most of that on a long touchdown pass to Langhorne of about 77 yards. But I think really the reason for it is that they can't get first downs running the ball. They just haven't been able to get any kind of a running game going, and what they want to do is maintain possession right now.
You'd think they just get those big studs up front just to the zone block straight ahead. Try to move, but the Steeler defense has, to their credit, the Steeler defense has played quite well today. Kosar 12 out of 24, 204 yards. And the Browns with a 3rd and 8 have converted 5 of 11 on 3rd down, but not this time. Fontenot tripping over the 20-yard line. Was tripped up by Gerald Williams, who's played superbly on the nose. Greg Riccozzi, the 2nd-year center out of Miami, has had his hands full with Williams. And the Steeler defense has done it again and keeps giving the ball back to the offense or to the special team. And on 4th down, Max Runniger punting to Lupe Sanchez. And again, the rain has continued to be stopped here in Cleveland. Sanchez running up and then got away from the ball at the last moment. It will come to rest right at the Pittsburgh 35-yard line. So with 9:33 to play, 4th quarter, the Browns looking to go 7-5. The Steelers will be 2-10 when this one is all over. I don't know about you, John. What do you think? They're wearing out the dog pound act?
I think they're beating it to death. Maybe it's time to go back to the wave.
35-yard line. The Steelers have the football. Trailing 27-7. Bubby Brister straight back. Throws a little screen out here to Merrill Hodge. Almost a great play by Washington. Hodge gets free on the sideline. Needs one block. Hurdles over the tackler. Hinton just couldn't get him out of the way, and he goes out of bounds somewhere inside the Cleveland 35-yard line.
What a tremendous effort by Washington to get over there into the screen. We'll see it from the end zone. Shot a screen to the right. Good effort by Hodge to avoid that, too. Here it is again. You'll see the screen to the right. Watch number 48, Brian Washington, come into the picture. He reads it all the way, gets through all the blockers, does everything right, and then doesn't make the tackles. He got knocked down. But where's his help? He needs some more white shirts over there.
34 yards on the screen pass to Merrill Hodge at the 32-yard line. Steelers obviously have to score quickly here. From the 32 of Cleveland, Brister, a naked reverse, kept it himself. Looking for a block. Gets one from Charles Lockett, then dives into the pile and fumbles the ball, but I believe the play was whistled dead. That play was ill-fated from the very beginning, from its inception.
That's the kind of play that a quarterback never checks off, too. You know that one came in from the sideline.
Well, last year, Mark Malone ran 42 yards, and no Cincinnati Bengal ever saw him until he got to the end zone.
A couple of Browns saw him that time and missed him back there, and now he's just running for his life. To his credit, though, watch this. He lowers his head and tries to pick up some yardage. He's not sliding.
May not be smart either.
May not be playing next week if he keeps that up.
Gain of 8 yards, 2nd down and 2 at the 24-yard line of Cleveland. 27-7 the Browns looking to go 7-5 and remain in the playoff berth. There's a halfback option. Rodney Carter throwing for Hodge, and it's incomplete. Steelers now pulling all the gadget plays out.
Well, again, you know, coaches get criticized, and Noel especially, for not calling plays like this. But on a pass like that, you can see why he won't call it. Carter overthrew Hodge, who was wide open by a good 10 yards.
He did it against Denver, and he hit Hodge right in the numbers and got the touchdown out of it. The Steelers just have not been a gadget team at all, and they've used more this season than at any time in memory. And I think Schottenheimer was quoted as saying he has never seen a Steeler defensive team take so many chances. So it's obvious there's some desperation in Chuck Noll this year.
Well, you can see why, too, especially the way things have gone today.
3rd down and 2. Brister to Hodge, hits him in the hands and falls to the ground. Clay Matthews had the coverage. I don't know whether he's just exhausted or what. It'll be 4th and 2, and the Steelers will go for it.
Steelers are just looking for the team bus to get him to the airport at this point. This is not a good pass by Brister. Hodge has to turn around and try and make the play. Here he comes right at you, number 33. You see this? He has to turn around and come back. Not much of a chance. Would have been a good catch if he held on.
They have just absolutely scrapped the running game here in the second half. Even though they fell down 24-7. It's the only thing they've done effectively today. They certainly haven't thrown the ball very well. 9 out of 24 for Brister, 127 yards, including that screen to Hodge. Fourth down, Hodge dropped another. That was Hodge's fault, not Brister.
Hodge started the game by dropping a pass, and it turned out to be an interception. And he's done it again. This has not gone Pittsburgh's way throughout the afternoon, as we got a flag down out there.
And it's in the area they generally call holding against the offensive line.
Number 73, illegal use of the hands. They decline the penalty. First down.
Craig Wolfley.
Timeout.
So the Steelers are now 2 out of 12 in fourth down attempts. 8:15 to play in the game. The Browns well in control of this one. With John Morris, Sam Nover back at Cleveland Stadium. We've got 8:15 to play in regulation, and I imagine Browns fans, even though they've got this one pretty much in the hopper, the question they have to be asking themselves, partner, is even if they win it, are they good enough to compete in the playoffs?
I really think the jury is still out on that one. The Browns won this one today. They had to win it. They're back home again after a couple of tough road losses, but are they good enough to make the playoffs? I don't think so today, but they've still got some games left.
The offense has not generated any points whatsoever. The first touchdown came on a turnover. The last touchdown, or the one in which they scored in the fourth quarter, third quarter, I should say, the Langhorn touchdown was a missed tackle by Thomas Everett. They have not done much on their own, and they have not run the ball at all today, but in their defense, they don't have Kevin Mack.
No running game at all. Kosar has thrown the ball, I would say, fair. I'd give him about a 6 on a scale of 10.
So the Browns begin this drive at the 24. Manoa just trying to cover up. Gets 5-6 yards. Gets out to the 30-yard line. It'll be second down and 4. And again, Houston widened their lead. So this looks pretty much like a fait accompli today as to what's going to happen. The Bengals are going to go to 10-2. Let's see. Let me get my little numbers out here. They're 8-3. They'll go to 9-3. Houston 8-4. Cleveland 7-5. That should do it. Just trying to keep the AFC Central in perspective. Second down and 4. So the Browns will still trail by 2 games. Under 7.5 minutes to play in the game. Long count. Kosar using every possible second. Fontenot for about a yard as he gets to the 31-yard line.
You know, having said all that, Sam, about Cleveland and whether they're a playoff team or not, I think you've got to consider one thing at a time. The important thing today is Cleveland won a game that they had to win. We talked about it in the beginning that possibly Pittsburgh could have snuck up on them if they weren't careful. Well, Cleveland did not allow that to happen today, and they won a game they had to win.
It is not out of the realm of possibility, too, and I don't know how much he's talking about it, but Bernie Kosar still may be feeling the effects of the elbow injury that forced him to miss 6 games at the top of the season.
He hasn't said anything about that publicly, and Marty Schottenheimer says absolutely not, but you just never know in a situation like that.
First final of the day, Minnesota has beaten Indianapolis 12-3. This is third down and 4. Kosar avoids the rush, but does not avoid Gerald Williams, who brings him down shy of the first down. So Kosar continues to prove what everybody knows, and that is that he can't run, except for one 13-yard dash earlier today that shocked everybody in the stadium.
The reason he ran like that time was because Aaron Jones chased him out of the pocket. Good job by the rookie defensive end.
6.5 minutes to play in the game. Steelers will get it back again. Max Runager will punt. And this has certainly been an adventuresome play for both teams today. Steelers have blown 2 of them. They have led directly. One has directly accounted for a touchdown. The other one led to a Cleveland touchdown. And then Max Runager dropping the ball led to a Steeler touchdown. Their only score of the day. Sanchez, fair catch inside his 30 and falls down. So with 6:07 to play, Brister comes back again. And will try to salvage something from this defeat after a 46-yard punt by Runager.
So a lot of conversation in Pittsburgh. Sam, I know you live there and you follow the team closely. Is there conversation about Troy Aikman, should he be the number one, or do they think that Brister is the quarterback of the future?
Well, quite honestly, it's divided. I think there are a lot of people who would like to see them make the change, but there are those who felt that Brister has not had a fair chance. And certainly under circumstances better than this, meaning healthy offensive linemen, better personnel around him, Brister will be the answer to their quarterbacking problems.
It's going to be a tough decision if they win that number one, though, isn't it?
Little shovel pass. Hodge bobbled it and almost gave it up. Merrill Hodge has had a bittersweet day. Some things he's done extremely well, and others, of course, have been nearly embarrassing, like that.
Kind of hard to catch the ball when you got 288 pounds hanging all over you. Michael Dean Perry read that one all the way.
No huddle offense for Pittsburgh. This is something that would have been unheard of in years gone by. They used it against Denver, the Sam Weish offense. Out pattern, caught by Lockett, his second catch of the day, and that's a first down up around the 40-yard line. So Charles Lockett catching one of Bubby Brister's well-thrown passes. 13 yards and a first down, under 5.5 minutes to play. There's a young man that's got to play more. Some of the critics of Chuck Noll can't understand why he doesn't take these second-year people like Lockett, throw them in there at the start of the game, and leave them there like Dwight Stone. Carter's in the open at the 40 and the 37-yard line. So Brister taking advantage of a no-huddle offense and a prevent defense by Cleveland. Brian Washington made the stop to pick up 23 more yards.
Carter ran right by Will Hill that time, and another Pittsburgh injury. We've seen an awful lot of Pittsburgh players limping off the field. I'm not saying they're not hurt, but I can't blame them for wanting to get off the field in a situation like this either.
Carter has just returned to the lineup after missing a couple of games and appears injured again, so the clock stops with 4:59 to play.
Watch 35 for Cleveland in the secondary. He just doesn't have the coverage that time, and Carter with the speed ran right by him.
Pretty good game in Kansas City. Dave Craig has just hit Brian Blades on a 14-yard scoring pass. 4:20 to play in that game, and Chiefs and Seattle tied at 24. Steelers with a first down, trailing here 27-7. Hodge, diving attempt. A little bit too long for him.
Brister trying to keep his team together, and it's been that kind of a year all year long, trying to hold this group together.
Their feeling about Merrill Hodge, John, has been that here's a guy who can be a first, second, and third down player for you. There's so much substitution on third down these days, but Hodge, in many instances, before he ever got the starting job at fullback, was a third down receiver.
I think he's going to be a good player, Sam. Put on some weight during the offseason, got some strength.
Had 56 yards catching the ball last week, 102 running the ball, 158 yards total offense. Pretty good day for anybody.
Cleveland showing blitz. 2nd
and 10. Coming after Brister, he hangs it up there for Lips. And way overthrown as Minifield had him short. Brian Washington had him deep. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Brister saw the blitz all the way. Felix Wright, number 22, is in the secondary, and he was pointing right at him. There he is on the left of your screen. Let's see what happens downfield now. He's going to try and hit it all the way to Lips, but no chance.
We can take a look at that wild card situation. These will be the records of the teams before today, but if you add victories to Cincinnati and Houston, and Cleveland, of course, it'll pretty much get you caught up to date. Houston,
everybody in the league
will be 8-4. Indianapolis has been updated at 6-6. 3rd down. Pump fake by Brister, throws it deep. He had Johnson, and it's incomplete. He gave him time to get the double coverage back there. Johnson had both defenders beaten by 5 yards, and by the time Brister delivered the football, they were both there.
Excellent call. It's exactly what happened. Just too late throwing the ball. By the time the football gets down there, now it just becomes hit and hope. Throw it up there, and maybe you'll get a good bounce. Didn't happen for Pittsburgh. They haven't gotten a good bounce all year.
4th down and 10, so the Steelers, for the 3rd time today, will go on 4th down. We question whether they should have done it in the first quarter. It might have been a whole new ball game, John.
They turned everything around.
That's right. 4th and 10 at the 37 of Cleveland. 4.5 minutes to play. Brister, sack.
Safety blitz. Looked like Felix Wright, 22 or 23. It might have been Mark Harper.
It was
Mark Harper.
It was indeed number 23, Mark Harper, who got him down.
Quarterback's got no chance in a situation like this. Everybody in the world knows he's going to pass, including the secondary. Here comes Harper. Nobody blocks him. Brister did well just to hold on to the football.
Steelers offensive line had allowed 30 sacks to start this game. They've added 5 more today. 35 times Steeler quarterbacks have bitten the dust attempting to throw the football, and that is not an enviable record. However, they're playing without Terry Long today. They've played all season without Buddy Idolette, who was a starting tackle. They played much of the season without John Rienstra. They've got Craig Wolfley playing out of position. So there are some excuses to be made as Manoah gets nothing running laterally and staying in bounds, which is the best thing he did on that play. Has been not a productive day for Tim Manoah, and watching him play only graphically demonstrates how much the Browns' offense misses Kevin Mack.
Well, they dearly need him back. They also need some outside speed. But on the other hand, Cleveland is going to win this one 27-7, so they must have done something right today too.
Manoah 5 carries, 13 yards from the 46-yard line. 3:50 to play in the game. And content that their favorite football team has this one fairly well salted away. Many of the partisans start to head for the exits. Fontenot in the grasp of 95. Greg Lloyd is going to be a good linebacker someday. First year out of Fort Valley State. Missed all of last season with a knee injury that required knee reconstruction, number 95 in black. This year suffered a knee injury to the other knee and had it scoped. So he's had problems early on, but he's going to be a good football player.
Just amazed that he would come back from both of those injuries. That's a difficult thing to do. And hats off to him.
3rd down and 8 for the Browns. Gerald Williams just bowled over the center. Greg Ricosi, and now Woodson coming on a corner blitz. Levels Kosar, and he is sacked way back at the 38-yard line.
Wow.
But boy, Gerald Williams did a number on Greg Ricosi, who weighs 290 pounds. He just drove him into the ground.
And Ricosi, who was off balance and being driven back, just grabbed him and pulled him down. You can see he's upset about it. Ricosi won the job from Mike Babb, a popular veteran center. Marty Schottenheimer was forced to let Babb go. See it again, number 73. You see this? He just pulls him right down. Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do. He gets away with it.
Second sack of the day for the Steelers. 9-yard loss, and the Steelers use one of their timeouts here in the second half. They'll get, of course, a stoppage at the 2-minute warning.
I think the Browns really miss Mike Babb. That's nothing against Greg Ricosi, but Babb has gone to New England, has won the starting job there, and has done an excellent job as the Patriots run the ball very well. Babb really kind of put Marty Schottenheimer in a corner here. He told him, I'm not going to sit here on the bench. I either start or get me out of here. So Marty realized he would have had a problem and traded him, but it was not popular with his veteran players.
Again, the Jets and Buffalo still locked in that 6-6 tie. Phoenix has scored again, but apparently not enough to catch Houston. The Bengals will go 9-3 over Dallas. Chicago has widened their lead. Minnesota, the only final on the board, at 12-3 over Indianapolis. And as I mentioned, Dave Craig moments ago, that touchdown pass to get Seattle even with Kansas City. Great punt by Roniger. Sanchez at his 15. He is hemmed in and will be run out of bounds at the 18-yard line, and a penalty marker goes down. So the Browns, who will win this game, not having to play their best, have the Washington Redskins next week, and that will be a task to say the least.
Well, the Redskins haven't been playing like Super Bowl team either, but still a very formidable team, and the Browns will have their hands full, that's for sure. Washington came into this game this week at 6-5. Well, Bernie Kosar wasn't an artistic success, but he did what a quarterback's supposed to do, and that's win.
Having a laugh or so with Brian Brennan, who had 3 catches today for 66 yards. Coming up next on most of these NBC stations, stay tuned for the second half of our football doubleheader. Most of you will see the Denver Broncos battle the New Orleans Saints in a crucial game, of course, for 2 playoff positions. That's coming up next on NBC. Merrill Hodge catching one in the flat and doing the unpardonable, staying in bounds unless he wants to do what everybody else in this building wants to do, and that's go home.
Well, he got some help staying in bounds by excellent play by Clay Matthews, the linebacker out there, who chased him down and said, I want that clock to keep on running.
2:16 and ticking. 2nd and 15. Brister complete. Lockett's third catch of the day up around the 25-yard line. That'll still be shy of the first down. And the Steelers in their hurry-up offense trying to get one more off before the 2-minute warning. And Brister uses a timeout at the 2-minute warning. They will not charge him for it. So the 2-minute warning stops the clock. The Browns have won and go 7-5 on the year. The Steelers to play the clock out when we come back. So exactly 2 minutes left in this one, and while we have a moment, both John and I want to thank our excellent support crew here in Cleveland, our statistician John Finn, and our spotters John Betchkull and Pete Halvin, who have been here an eternity. And it's always nice to come into a city and know that you got guys who are familiar with the system and everything else. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. It's the Steelers running the ball now from their 26-yard line. 2 minutes left in this one. They have third down and about 8 to keep the football, although they will try on fourth, no doubt, anyway. Brister throws downfield. He's got a receiver. Johnson makes the catch and slides. Will they allow it? They do indeed. He caught it in bounds. Troy Johnson has caught everything they have thrown his way, and he just doesn't get any playing time, and they're going to be screaming for more, I can assure you.
I think he'll get some playing time after this one. He went right by Hanford Dixon on the corner. There he is. You can see him. He's got 3 steps on Dixon and a nice catch over the shoulder and stays in bounds.
At the 35-yard line of Cleveland, Johnson has caught everything thrown his way and is still the 4th Steeler receiver. Brister, quick pop over the middle, bobbled by Lips, and he couldn't hold on. We are going for an update to Gail Gardner in NFL Live in New York.
All right, Sam, thank you very much. We're going to take a look at the tying touchdown at Arrowhead. Seahawks Dave Craig back. He finds the rookie Brian Blades over the middle, 14-yard touchdown pass. The Seahawks Chiefs tied at 24. Let's go back to Cleveland.
Touchdown we talked about moments ago. Thank you, Gail, at the 34-yard line. Steelers now with a 2nd down and 10. Lips not able to hang on to the football. Well, Chuck Noll may learn a lot about some people today that he didn't know a great deal about, like who still wanted to play at the end when it was 27-7, and those people could be rewarded in the days and weeks ahead. Brister over the middle has a wide-open Rodney Carter for another first down. Inside the 20 and then driven back by Brian Washington, the free safety. Minute 35 to play. 14 yards on that completed pass. Steelers in their hurry-up offense. A minute 26. The clock continues to run, and now Brister forced to call a timeout. And while he does, it is time now for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. And today's MVP is Frank Minifield of the Cleveland Browns. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. Minifield, 1 interception, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and prior to this drive has defensed the receivers magnificently.
He sure lived up to his reputation today. He may be the most valuable player of a season for the Cleveland Browns. What a cornerback.
So Brister, having spent a timeout with a minute 24 to play, comes back. He is 16 out of 36 now for 220 yards, but you talk about stats being deceiving. They don't even begin to tell the story. Kosar 12 out of 24 for 204. 1st and 10. And whatever remains of the dog bones in the end zone, trying to get the defense to sack him. They fumble the ball. Still loose, and I believe the Browns have it. Brister was whacked from behind, coughed it up. David Grayson is the man who forced the fumble, and coming away with it is Michael Dean Perry, who's played a good ball game.
He really has. Grayson 56 causes this, though. That's the Bear defense. Everybody getting after him, even a safety blitz. There's Grayson 56 from behind. Michael Dean picks it up and says, I'm going to score a touchdown. Wait a minute. Forgot to bring the football with him. Now he's got the football. Earlier, Michael Dean, earlier.
There's your souvenir.
He just wants to make sure the camera saw him.
So as we check things out for the day, Kosar, respectable stats, but actually didn't really have a significant role in moving his offensive unit downfield. Biner, they didn't run the ball at all today. Langhorne had an excellent day, and the bomb to start the 3rd quarter. Barr 2 out of 3. He did what is expected of him. And the Browns are going to win because of their special teams and the Steelers' lack of special teams play. There's your story.
Actually, Kosar's stats haven't been very good since he came back, with the exception of the first game against Phoenix.
Here's another final. Detroit has beaten the Green Bay Packers 19-9, the final score. This one will be 27-7. The Steelers will not spend a timeout here to stop the clock. I don't believe they even have. Yeah, they do have one more to spend if they wish. And the Browns, and Bernie Kosar specifically, will go to his knee 3 more times if necessary. And they go to 7-5, John. So it just remains to be seen. They'll have to play the schedule out. Marty Schottenheimer, I don't know. Is he taking some of the criticism off his back today? They moved the ball a little bit, but certainly as offensive coordinator, he's been under the gun.
Well, if they're going to get to the AFC Championship game again, they're just going to have to play better than they played today, and better than they played in the last couple of weeks. I think they're a ways away yet, but at least they won, and that's what counts.
That'll just about do it for that man in his 20th season as head football coach. 3rd winningest active coach in the National Football League. That's what his team did, but you can throw away Brister stats. When the game was on the line, he had thrown for under 100 yards. The punting is the whole story. 2 bad snaps, 1 block. It's been a long afternoon for the Steelers, who go to 2-10 and lose this football game by a final score of 27-7. And Marty Schottenheimer knows who the MVP is. It's Frank Minifield. And the Cleveland Browns have won another over the Steelers. They're 6th straight. They go to 47-31 in one of the great rivalries of all time. So Cleveland 27, Pittsburgh 7. We'll be back with more from the Cleveland Stadium after this short break. We'll be back.